Hi everyone. Before we dive into tonight's games, we here at the LCS want to express our unequivocal support of the Black Lives Matter movement and the fight against systemic racism and injustice. Starting today, July 11th, until the LCS Finals September 6th, we're matching a total of $100,000 in donations made to the ACLU Foundation, the Innocence Project, the Center for Policing Equality, and the NAACP by LCS teams, owners, and LCS and Academy players and staff. Earlier this month, Riot Games pledged $1 million through the Social Impact Fund, initial contributions going to the Innocence Project and the ACLU. Now, Riot Games is deploying $10 million towards game-related businesses led by founders underrepresented in the games community. And for those aspiring to start a career in gaming, Riot Games is establishing a partnership with Florida A&M University to support underrepresented software engineers, alongside a $50,000 scholarship through the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. While these are only the first steps made by the LCS and Riot Games to support racial justice and equality, we encourage everyone to continue educating themselves on institutional racism and how to support the Black Lives Matter movement. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. There's a lot of work to do now and in the future, but the LCS will be here with you every week until finals, and it starts tonight. We're going to step away, but when we return, we do have our pregame analysis for our first game at 6 p.m. between 100 Thieves and Evil Geniuses, followed by our spring finals rematch between FlyQuest and Cloud9. We'll see you then after the break. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday Night League, the LCS's newest way to kick off some competition. My name's Gabriella La Tigers Devia Allen, and I am so excited to christen FNL with an affable assembly of analysts. We have Neil Prawley Hamad, Mark Zimmerman, and Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler. How you doing, fellas?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
LCS is back.
Good vibes all around. We're kicking off the weekend. We're about to get into some summer split. Now, Prawley, any craziness from you between spring split until now? Any surprises you got for us?
I guess the biggest surprise is I found out how terrible I am at cooking, and that's what I've been doing with this break. I'm trying to figure out how to cook. It's just not working. Everything is just getting burnt and undercooked. It's awful.
Do you have a star dish or no?
I can make chicken, kind of, but it's
Fair.
hard.
It's not a dish. Chicken's an
I'll
ingredient.
put salad on the side. Chicken.
I was
salad,
gonna
boom, I'm
say
done.
my peak is a can of chili that I can heat up the chili. So probably's got me beat.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
a little bit. 1%
Yeah.
there.
What about you, Kobe? Anything crazy happened to you in this off season?
Happened to me directly. I don't know. Off season, I guess if you talk about Double Lift leaving Team Liquid and moving to TSM, that was pretty crazy.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, I know that we have a lot to get through here in Friday Night League, and as you can see around us, the LCS got some new digs while we were away, so let me be the first to welcome you to the League Control System's dynamically operated media environment, or in short, the LCS Dome powered by Alienware. I gotta say, I love how this looks on the outside, y'all.
Yeah,
Guess we're all on the inside, right?
I didn't get to see any preview of this, so I finally got to watch us in rehearsals going through this whole virtual environment. It's super crazy when you see the tosses swinging over and kind of return some of the same feel.
And there we are. I do definitely enjoy kind of that space right below us, I guess where you see the logo and stuff, and gives this kind of airy feeling. I don't know if that makes sense when looking at these different scenes. A little wave over there from Rivington.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
thinking
there's
we
the
actually
pond right
need
there.
this biodome right now so we can actually use it.
This is where
Definitely,
we're escaping
definitely.
to.
There we go. A little bit of thing there. But everybody, I hope you're enjoying what we have around us, everything that's to come. I'm super excited for all that we have for Friday Night League because we're adding many new elements, including a talented individual to the fold based on your incredible feedback from the LCS after party that we had at the end of the spring split. We are lucky enough to have the Sushi Dragon coming to Friday Night League. So to kick your weekend off right, here is his welcoming for our reigning champs.
I'm back! How you doing, LCS? It's Friday Night League, and well, I'm still here. If you remember me, I'm the Sushi Dragon. How you doing? They kind of just left me here. But first, I want to say congratulations to C9, the reigning champions. Oh, will you look at that? Deborah.
Yes.
I didn't know you were a C9 fan. I didn't know you were a C9 fan. Deborah must not heard me. One more time. I didn't know you were a C9 fan.
Of course. I love you, Sven. Let's go C9.
Let's go C9. Let's start today's segment with a song. How's that? Cue it up. One more time. LCS, make some noise! C9, let's go! Yo, give me some backup dancers here with me.
Now check this out.
Wow, that was exciting. Can't wait to do more songs tonight, but we'll be right back. I'm sending this back to the analyst desk and have a fantastic rest of the show. Let's go. Thank you, Friday Night League.
Now, I remember actually before the after party happened, Mark, you had hyped up Sushi Dragon a lot. And I thought, all right, what's this guy got in store? So as somebody who advocated for him pretty extensively beforehand, how happy are you to see him as a regular part of Friday Night League?
I'm pretty stoked. I love Sushi Dragon. Got to give a shout out to Travis Gafford. I know he loves being like, I started working with him a long time ago, but the more he gets integrated with the league scene, the more entertaining it is. I absolutely love his editing style and just the craziness that comes with it.
Yeah, I got so engrossed in what he was doing after the after party and his explanation of it all, so I hope everyone's looking forward to it just as much as we are. There are a lot of things that changed in the off-season between spring and now, and a lot of that included rosters, so I thought to myself, I love that Dracos, Flowers, and a lot of the members of the LEC crew have been taking a stab at rapping, and I wanted to give it a try. So, for our update on all of the changes, I'm going to hand it over to Gabriella Latigris Devia Allen for a totally not at all whatsoever pre-recorded Friday Night Freestyle. Thanks, Latigris. No video, no studio, no backup, no horse, but I'm guessing that my rap still has some force. Some rosters gotta shake up, so here I go. An off-season update with a little bit of flow. With Dardock and Viper Dig, won't pay the piper. New jungler for IMC, Halong for Xmas TSM on the men. Deal might be heaven sent. The tactical revision could be TL's right decision. No, GG, Tanner time, please. Could Hooney's evil genius bring this league to its knees? Will the C be enough to topple EG, sharpen logo? Yo, solo, best believe what's coming. All this scrapping. Turn to the sky, you kings are unconcerned. Look at Cloud9 fly. Back to you. So, starting with Cody.
I liked it. Yeah.
Let's go. I like it.
Is it really freestyle if it's pre-recorded though? I mean, I want to see you bust one out live.
It could have been freestyled first time. That was first take, by the way.
Yeah, I did do it live. Like, it was one when I did it.
Oh, okay, live to tape.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, okay.
So, and if you watch Sway in the Morning or anything, I mean, looking at how they do it, I highly doubt it's all right on the spot. So that's my defense of it. But I think I covered most of the updates there. I think as far as what we need to go over, would you agree probably? Did you get everything that you needed, or do you feel that we have to talk about this a bit more?
Let's see. I think the biggest one for me, I mean, you started off with it with Dardock, tapping on him. I think that's probably the biggest one I want to talk about, because every single split that Dardock's on a new team, I always say, this is his last chance. This is the roster that he's going to work with. This is the meta for him. But I was just looking at it through the wrong lens. I finally realized this guy's just a social butterfly. Like, this guy's insane at networking. He's with 7 different teams. Like, that's 7 like GMs that he knows, 7 different coaches, with like 28 other players he's played with. Like, this guy just knows how to network, and that's the most important thing in this business.
I think
That-
for me, I look at it, it's like you get motivation on like those revenge tours you hear people talking about and going against your former team. Think about how much motivation Dardoch has with 6 former teams. Like, that's over half the league that you're extra motivated to go up against. It's actually
Every
so
game's
smart.
a revenge game.
Yeah, people are thinking about it the wrong way. They're thinking, oh my God, this guy is so toxic. He gets kicked from all these LCS teams. He's never going to have another chance getting back on teams. But what about the fact that every time he gets kicked, he gets picked up again? You got to focus on the positives here. He's still able to make it work.
That's the thing. And as far as what we have with these roster changes going down, and we have to dive into these hot takes a bit further. With Dardoch, for instance, I think on top of the fact of networking, who doesn't want a complete closet with jerseys from every single team in the LCS? And I do feel like he is actually within arm's reach of that mark. Doesn't he have... I mean, how many teams has he been on at this point?
This is his 7th, I believe. And the cool thing is, sometimes teams rotate out. There's new teams join the league. You could, in some part, play on more teams than there ever were in the league because Echo Fox is gone now, but he's got that one. So who knows? Maybe he'll get up to 11, 12. Who knows?
Yeah, could just keep counting on up and up. But he's not the only one that ended up switching things around this time around. So, Xmithy. We're not going to be seeing him here on IMT starting in week number 1. I mean, what do we have to say about that?
Oh, God. I mean, the just decision to bench Smithy is one that I feel like we haven't gotten great clarification on. Immortals put out a 9-minute video where they kind of talked about it, and they're like, oh, yeah, we started scrimming 4 weeks before other people with internal scrims, trying to find the best roster that we could and think about synergies and stuff. But then in that, they didn't say, like, we think this is the best roster to win right now. They said that they mentioned 2021 and looking forward to that. They also mentioned going to Worlds. They also said that this roster is still subject to change. So to me, this just feels like a total crapshoot in that it's somewhat of a punt until 2021, but also still not really wanting to say that while trying to get the best of both worlds, but getting none of it.
And it's not even just Xmithy either. They're also benching Hakuho. I mean, these are some of the players that people are looking to on this team as some of the best performers and some of the most experienced players in the entire league. Now, them talking about, in that video about them not being solidified on these players and still looking to change it. To me, this idea of 10-man rosters and being flexible and always looking for the best person to put in is actually not a good thing. I don't know why there are several teams that are still chasing the 10-man roster dream. To me, that is actually always a bad thing, and it's more a symptom of a deeper-rooted problem where they haven't been able to figure out in one of the longest downtimes that we have ever had in the LCS, with MSI getting canceled and everything, they haven't been able to figure out what roster they want to field. They haven't been able to do enough, with their coaching staff. And then if you're constantly switching out people during the season, you're always playing catch up and you're failing to build synergy and build on the successes that you're able to get early in the season.
And with that, probably how worried do you think that IMT should be in the sense that a lot of that experimentation is often left to the spring split, but now we're in summer split. You're really trying to get into that final form for the push for a Worlds qualification, but you're still in this indecisive spot.
Yeah, like Mark was mentioning their video, they do mention that they're kind of, tossing out their philosophy they had for spring, which makes sense in the terms of like the spring just didn't go well, but this is not the best change to go with that kind of philosophy. Like, Xmithy was such an important part of that team because most of their wins were on the back of stable late game plays, and now taking away probably maybe one of the most controlled junglers in the league, that's gonna suffer a lot. So maybe this new philosophy means they're just gonna try to play really aggressively, and I don't know. This has got to be, they have to prove this was the right one because it doesn't look like it on paper.
Now, before we get to the last big hitter of the roster changes, Kobe, I believe we have some breaking news that just came through today, right?
Yeah, I mean, TSM announced more changes. TSM's always in the headlines, but today was pretty cool because right before the show, they put out another announcement, and they're moving Parth again back to a coaching position, which is another cycle in the TSM history books here. They've re-added Double Lift, and now they've re-added Parth as well. I feel like piece by piece they're starting to put together the old form of TSM where they actually found so much success. But this one to me was actually really interesting because Parth has not been involved in strategic League of Legends for a long time. So if they're moving Peter Zhang back to Academy and bringing up Parth, it seems more like a figurehead move, and Double Lift and Bjergsen going to have just bigger voices in running that team. So it seems like it's going to be more of a player run coaching and strategy to me. As they, even in their announcement, they cited Double Lift and Bjergsen both asking for this move. What do you guys think?
I don't know. It's just one where, as you go back, it's not like it doesn't sound like a ton of confidence behind it. I know they asked for Parth to come back, but I also know that they were looking for other coaches in the offseason too. So it definitely feels a little bit. I can't tell if I should be excited or not, and I love Parth too. So it's just like as a lot of things with TSM right now are. You can't really put it into words. It's both hype and not hype at the same time.
And probably we're talking about the switching up of rosters and things, and you look over at Evil Geniuses, an interesting situation with the top lane picking up Huni but still having Kumo here. So what does that add to that dynamic between those two players?
I mean, I think Kumo's pretty safe. He should be pretty happy for this summer split for sure, because there is no way in hell that EG is going to remove Bang or Jizuke. Those are two way important roles on the team that they've kind of identified how to play with them. So I think Kumo's safe, and I think his role now is going to be like how much he can develop in this summer split. Like, I know spring was not great for him, so this is kind of his time for, like, I'm either going to be a really successful carry top player, which is going to be pretty hard in this kind of climate, or he's going to have to be like that rock that, like, Licorice always talks about top lane being. Like, the way Solo came into FlyQuest and was just that rock. He was putting out pressure on the map, but also, like, didn't take all the resources in the game. So I think that's what he has to decide for this summer split.
And speaking of this new pickup, I mean, as far as our first match here for the summer split, it is EG versus 100 Thieves. And while we know what the Evil Geniuses roster is going to be, Kobe, do you think that it's ever worth benching Bang to bring in Huni?
I mean, that is a really tough question. I personally think that this game would be the game where they would show their hand if they were planning on doing that, because going against 100 Thieves, they've got someday, one of the best top laners that you're ever going to face in the LCS. That is a big part of 100 Thieves win condition. If you have plans of switching in Huni, it would have been in this game. And since they've elected to keep in Kumo, I doubt that they're actually going to use Huni unless something really exceptional happens in practice during the summer split, because taking out Bang is a big cost. Bang was such a huge part of EG's win conditions in spring split.
And looking more at Someday specifically, because we got news that he is signed with 100 Thieves until 2022. Considering his performance with this organization in the past, Mark, what does that mean for 100 Thieves having him as a central piece for this extended period of time?
Feels like they secured themselves basically a top 3 top laner for the next couple of years. That's a huge pickup, and one that I think people have not given enough ups to, enough credit to for Papa Smithy, signing him for this long. He's an incredibly talented player, and I think it's great that they've secured him for this entire time, because now you have something solid to build around the whole rest of those years.
And while that top lane has been a solid pillar for 100 Thieves, a lot of questions have surrounded the mid lane. And in this case, the matchup for our first match of the day is going to be Jizuke versus Ryoma. Probably a lot have talked about the improvement made by Ryoma towards the end of the spring split, but what do you make of him coming into this first match?
No, I think Ryoma did a really good job of growing, and I think towards the last half of the split, we actually got to see kind of more of how his style of play is going to come along. But when you look at the head-to-head matchup right here, the biggest thing that you can see is the solo kills from Jizuke are 11 compared to Ryoma's 2. And then looking at the isolated deaths, which are 12 and 14 respectively, that's pretty big when you want to compare these two players. What it tells me is, like, Jizuke is, like, much more aggressive, and he's going to go for the 1v1s and be successful on them. And on the other hand, like, Ryoma doesn't look like the guy who's like trying to go for the 1v1s, and I think that's what he's kind of growing into the team to be, is more of this like mid laner who can like give back and be self-sufficient, and not the mid laner who's going to like win or lose you the game every single time.
With those solo deaths, it looks like other people are looking for the 1v1 with him, though, for Ryoma.
Yeah, the
he's trying to
aggressor's
dodge
coming for
him. Yeah, stats don't always tell the whole story, but I think this time they kind of do. I think those are pretty good ones.
Well, that's one side of the story, but the game state is a whole nother side. So before we get into today's games, I do want to get your thoughts on maybe some spicy picks that we might be seeing here. What about you, Mark?
I think the first thing that jumped out to me was Tank Senna, just because it's a really cool build on a champion that we've seen a little bit. People have stopped taking Glacial Augmented things. They're taking Grasp of the Undying. They're building Frozen Mallet as a first item to get that slow proc that you used to get from Glacial Augment. It makes you a lot tankier and able to, really find ways to chase people down. You still do get some damage items like Black Cleaver and stuff built later. It's just a little bit less of the straight lethality rushing, but it's super, super strong. And if people pick Senna, which you see getting banned a lot right now around the world, but this is kind of the go-to build path now.
Now, Kobe, I believe that you had put some thoughts into this build that we're seeing from Senna and why it works.
Yeah, I mean, like Mark is saying, you're getting a lot more tanky, and with the Frozen Mallet, you still get to be super annoying with the slows. Some other things I'm looking at, because we saw the Tank Senna at the mid-season streamathon, have been individual items and keystones that have just been super successful in all these patches while we've been waiting. People playing in solo queue and a lot of pro builds and stuff. Death's Dance, it has emerged to me as one of the secret OP items that people hadn't been using enough before. You could build it on top laners, you build it on junglers, you could build it on AD carries. Just build it on whatever you're trying to carry with in your games, and I think that people will incorporate a lot more in pro play. Plus Phase Rush, if you're looking at the keystones, that thing got buffed on multiple patches as well, and I think Graves is probably one of the best users of it that we've seen already in pro play, really abusing that extra move speed for both offensive and defensive purposes.
Graves, you've seen him a lot coming through the queues, and I know probably we were just talking about the top lane matchup that we have here today. Are there any champions that you think will be imperative there?
Well, you talk about Graves with Phase Rush. I want to talk about top lane with Phase Rush, because we got like Jace, Phase Rush everywhere. Wukong, Phase Rush, depending on the matchup. Yeah, we got two champions, which is better than Spring Split, because Spring Split we were running the trifecta of like Set, Ornn, and Aatrox, and that was kind of all you would ever see. I am glad now we have slightly more variety, and it's kind of going to mix up a lot of things, because as soon as like tank tops stop becoming like the main meta for top lane, it's kind of like cascading across the whole board, and now we're actually getting to see a lot more Thresh. And a big part of Thresh is his ability to like pick and disengage, and with all these squishy champions out there, pick comps are really prevalent, and Thresh being such a lane bully and has such good pick potential in the mid game, he's just so strong right now. I think we're going to see him in every game.
If Thresh is popular in the bot lane, I know there's one bot lane champ that we can't go without mentioning, Mark. Who is that?
It's Varus. I'm so sick of seeing Varus, and it's the same lame poke Varus. At least when it's on hit Varus, you're getting in there, rattling off auto attacks. This is just, hold Q, charge
Oh,
in.
you don't like sniping? Come on.
No.
You gotta hit the skill shot?
No, I don't like it, and it's so strong right now. It's basically 100% pick ban across the world. It even got above 100% when it was picked twice in the blind pick game during that mid-season streamathon. So like, it's so highly prioritized. It's breaking statistics. Our stats team's not happy.
Now, Kobe, with Varus being a popular pick in the bot lane, is there anything that you expect to see as far as other teams trying to contest it, or it started getting banned out? I saw even in LEC earlier and was taken off the block completely. Do you think the teams today are going to choose to ban instead of letting it through as a first pick?
Yeah, for sure. Give me one of those big red buttons for the memes to just hit the ban button on Varus. I think that's going to be very prevalent. We've already seen across the world, mid-season streamathon as well, LCK and LPL top level teams all banning it out. Like Mark was saying, when they had a blind pick and you can't ban, if you take away that tool, then just both teams picked it. You do have other options, the Ezreal, the Kalista, Aphelios and stuff like that, but Varus is definitely king.
Are we covered? We got it all before we go through, guys?
I think so. We saw some Maokai in LEC, Maokai Orin. I hope that doesn't actually happen. That's a pass from me. So less tank top meta, hopefully.
Yes.
Fair enough. Well, that's all our thoughts that we have here on the desk. And without further ado, let's get the LCS Summer Split started.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? Get ready, go. Get ready. Get ready. This be the green light, go. Tires burn the pavement. People wanna know when Mace, Posse, and Dave went. Still here, still in your ear with a style so hot, you'll see where all the sun rays went. Legs on the head, all being moved in a frenzy. The blends be all the right cred, meaning credential. Best of both worlds when we rockin' over pearls. Instrumental. Are you ready? Set, jump to the rhythm as hard as you can go. Steady, to the letter rap, turn it up. We giving a show. But can you rock it like rocket? What you talking about? Space out your mind. Can you rock it like rocket? Close encounter of what kind? Jump to the rhythm as hard as you can go. Steady, to the letter rap.
Hello and welcome everyone to the LCS Summer Split. I am Freak. Kobe, are you ready?
Let's go.
Welcome back to the LCS. I'm Rivington Bisson III, and I am so excited to be getting this started with the Vandal of video games himself, an actual world champion, Isaac Azale Cummings Bentley. Man, how you been? It's an honor to be here with you.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. I'm feeling good. I'm excited to be back. Have some LCS games finally underway. You know, without MSI this year, it just feels like it's been so long. You know, since we've had these LCS teams playing.
We're not even in a game yet, and I can feel the adrenaline. It's going. My heart is beating. I'm so ready. 100 Thieves versus EG, followed up by FlyQuest and Cloud9. We'll be jumping into Champion Select for 100 Thieves versus EG in just a moment. But what a game for these two to be starting. 5-6 for 100 Thieves last split. EG finding themselves in second, and then finally for the split itself, and then third after playoffs. So EG definitely proving themselves a little more than I thought. I think people were thinking coming into the spring split.
I mean, yeah, when you look at where they started, you know, at the beginning of spring to where they actually ended up, this is a team that I think improved by leaps and bounds throughout that spring split. Jizuke was a guy who everyone was pointing to as more of a loss condition than a win condition at the beginning of spring. You know, that he was really struggling, getting caught out, being punished heavily. Throughout spring, he not only managed to reduce how often he was getting caught and punished, but he was able to maintain his really high level of aggression, and really is being born as kind of the star of this team. He has been a monster mid laner and really one of the most impressive solo carry threats in the league. And then on the other side, you have 100 Thieves, who also has kind of been on this journey of development, right? Ryoma has been improving. You know, Papa Smithy and 100 Thieves, the whole team talked about, you know, this player and their confidence that they have in him. Also his ability to improve over time. You know, there's a lot of young guys on this 100 Thieves squad. When you look at Ryoma, Cody-san, Stunt, and they're paired alongside some damn Meteos, you know, two of the kind of biggest veterans in the scene. And there's so much room to grow for them, and both these teams really have been getting so much better.
I love that you point that out with Cody-san and Stunt having been switched in and out recently themselves in the past few splits. Well, someday from the Academy team back to the LCS team. So you're right, those transitions they're making as they grow, and we are starting to see where this team's ceiling might be, because they haven't reached it yet. They're still going up. Picks and bans, or I should say picks have started after the bans. Ornn, safe pick someday towards that top side of the map. And the Aphelios coming out for Bang. Looks like they're going to put power in his hands right away with the Yuumi to start off the bot lane. Going right away.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm wondering if they're going to pick up something like the Olaf for the jungle too. People do like some of these kind of aggressive Juggernaut style junglers to be paired alongside the Yuumi. If that can really work well to help snowball games. Nothing too surprising just yet as far as picks and bans though. With Trundle banned out, the Ornn blind pick becomes very, very good. We saw a lot of tanks today in LEC. Ornn, Maokai, even Cho'Gath coming through. And Varus is actually, across the top 4 regions, has 41 bans, only 1 pick so far.
And there he is.
LPL, LEC, etc. So, make it 42, I guess. The only player who has actually gotten to play it in pro play so far in those top regions is actually Perks, and he went 9-0-9 on it. So I think Varus is going to stay on the ban table for quite some time.
And Azale, you spoke about the Olaf. They take it away right now. Medio says, I'll take it. We don't have to place another ban on it second time around if they don't pick jungle here on first phase. And they kind of save themselves a slot. But they will. Kindred will be there, so a bit more safety in the brawls that will kind of be centered around one spot for a moment. You're going to get the Ornn Horn. You're going to get Olaf running in. We're going to want to save that area.
It is very interesting because a lot of people do like Trundle into the Olaf. So, by banning out that Trundle, by picking the Yuumi, it does kind of show, from the side of EG that maybe they wanted that Olaf. But that being said, Kindred can actually work quite well in this meta. A lot of the scaling farming junglers people are really kind of enjoying in this style of gameplay where the junglers are getting more experience, more gold, and just overall are kind of at a more powerful level. Kindred can also work actually quite well into the Olaf, being able to dodge out with that dance of arrows. If you can avoid the axis, you can actually win some of those skirmishes early on, but you do have to be very careful about never face checking the Olaf, because if he catches you, face checking him in a brush, he hits that first axe, you will be losing that duel for sure.
We'll have to see how the lanes play out here in the early game to see if anybody can assist with that situation if it does come about. I mean, right now we don't have a equal to that top laner for someday. We're still waiting on that as bans go through. Top was not focused as we see the Bard and Karmo, which is getting much more play out. And Twisted Fate and LeBlanc over from 100.
Yeah, really interesting stuff. We've actually been seeing a lot more TF coming out in pro play, so far this season. TF has been played. I've seen it both as AP and AD, for that split push style. A lot of the kind of Enchanter style supports being banned out. People love the Ezreal Yuumi pairing, but that was obviously taken by AG, and then they're going to take away that Karma, take away that Bard to try to deny some of those more common pairings. And we'll see where 100 Thieves wants to go with this. If they want to still stay with something, to kind of play that Enchanter role. You could even go for something like a Lulu if you really wanted to work with that Lulu plus Olaf style of combo. But they can also just go for more kind of standard tank supports too if they want to play it a little bit more safe.
Looking for a way to prep that fight, maybe with some paddle stars before they make their way into the front line. We also have a bit of Cody Sun firing in some Mystic shots there, and more to go in with. A really well-rounded team here, it seems, coming in from 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
And they're looking at it's a fight squad on the side of Evil Geniuses, but if they don't get the fight they want, it seems like this team could fall apart very quickly.
Yeah, and my problem already looking over at the EG squad is that 100 Thieves is playing very heavy poke comp, and they also have hard engage, right? So what 100 Thieves is going to want to try to do is set up around objectives, set up around towers, and Ezreal as well as this Zoe are going to poke you out. Now, usually the answer to that, the counter to that, is hard engage. Where's the go button on EG, right? It's Aatrox running forward with the Yuumi on him or something, there's no hard engage. There's no way to guarantee the fight. Nautilus can even just use his ultimate as a disengage at that point. And if you do not have a way to actually force these fights out, 100 Thieves will sit back, they will poke you out, and then once you are low on health, they will look for that hard engage. So EG is going to have to be pretty creative in how they find engages, either with flanks and, a TP coming in from Kumo and a package used by Jizuke, things like this, or they're just going to have to straight up slam their lanes and be the ones that are first to that objective. Because if 100 Thieves gets to play, their style of game, I do think that their comp has a heavy advantage.
You can see it happening, right? They seem like they're going to be coming out strong. I'm sure everybody's hungry. Maybe we'll kind of get the timid flutters being pushed out, but they're not on a stage, right? They're at home. Going to be very interesting to see how they play this one out. Now we're going to be taking a quick break for competitive integrity, and then I believe we'll be back to get this game underway with myself and Azale. The summer split has started.
Go.
Do not go anywhere. There's no commercial then. I have just been informed we never have to leave. So you shouldn't go anywhere.
Oh,
Come back.
Okay.
Sit down. sit down.
I was like, wow, this is staying on us for a long time for a toss.
I told you to bail. You don't have to bail. Get back here. We're getting into game right now. Summer Split's underway. The Rift is ready. Look at that. Beautiful job. The lines look good. Whoever was out there taking care of the foliage, fantastic job. And thanks for bearing with us for that short non-commercial break. We're on the Rift, Azael, and it's about to be 100 Thieves versus EG to start off the 2020 Summer Split.
Even better, the waiting is all over. We're into the game, and it's looking like it's getting spicy already. Looks like we had a little bit of a level 1 move that they were trying to go for here. You know, anytime you do have that Olaf plus the Nautilus that is, such a strong level 1 as far as catch, if you can tag someone with an axe, sometimes you can get a summoner out or even get a kill. So they want to try to play this pretty aggressively. 100 Thieves already tried to invade on that top side and now are looking down towards this blue buff. You can also see that Someday is actually posted up by the entrance to their blue buff. So, they want to not only steal away the blue, but they want to potentially deny Svenskeren from stealing away their blue and maybe look towards a 3-buff start here for Meteos.
I like the fact that 100 Thieves is trying to start off
late invade.
Their own little trickery. Hopefully they don't fall behind too much by trying this. They're going to keep themselves moving in here, and it looks like they're going to go unnoticed for now. Whoopsies. It'll be fine. As long as nobody finds Cody's son all by himself. Lanes will not be seen right away towards bot, and they may be able to figure out what's going on here on the side of you.
Yeah, and the reason they go for that late of an invade, they waited till the buff spawned, is they were hoping that EG was actually starting on that buff themselves. They were not. You can see Svenskeren is running right towards that blue buff. He anticipated that this move was going to be coming, so he is going buff straight to buff to stop any potential 3-buff play. And because he is playing Kindred and he can actually just hop straight over the wall, he actually avoided both of those wards, the ward in the Pixel Brush in the river as well as that ward up by the top lane. Neither one of them spotted him. So, whether or not Meteos, assumes this is going to happen is another question, but they don't have that solid information. They can't guarantee exactly where Kindred has gone, and there is the possibility that Meteos may assume my blue buff is still there to grab.
That's a very good point. Maybe the wards need to be placed a little differently, knowing there is the option to hop over terrain. Meteos being seen on the way out now, so they know he did stay on that bottom side of the jungle. A little bit more info over to Svenskeren as Kumo and Someday trade on the top side of the map, and this should go back and forth a little bit until we get some jungler intervention. This looks like Svenskeren's going to make his way out quite safely in this endeavor and have the top side of his jungle to go at.
I mean, he got the full 3-camp clear, so it is just going to be an even trade. A lot of times in these counter jungle starts where you do have a leash and your opponent doesn't, Meteos had that leash, so he's going to be clearing a little bit more quickly. But oftentimes, the Kindred wouldn't have the confidence to actually stay around for that full 3-camp clear. In this case, Svenskeren did. So he is going to be dead even on camps. And now for him, he's just hoping that his mark will spawn on the top side. It actually does spawn on the bottom. So he will not be rewarded with that first free mark. And, if you're not familiar with Kindred or need a bit of a refresher, it really is the 4 that you are looking for as we see that engage down the bot
Bit of a
side.
grab on Bang. That's a lot of damage coming through as he's down to 200 HP. Summoners on the bot side are barrier used and just a heal from the Yuumi. Summoner heal still up there if they try to go hard. Ignite away from stun as Svenskeren is just biting at the heels of Someday on the top side of the map. And they try to get things started. This is going to help Kumo. And the bot side's going to get pressured here by Meteos. Azael, I don't know if they're going to let him out alive. Meteos has a lot of work ahead of him because he's going to try this. Already, they have Ryoma coming down as well onto this. It looks like he's going to stop halfway, though, as they maybe, I don't know, fully commit, not. Communication's half there. They're going to peel off for now and just go for this plate that should be the option.
Yeah, I think as soon as they saw Ryoma missing, they actually were tipped off. They say, okay, Zoe's moving too. They actually are going to commit to this dive, and that is why Bang and Zazel were so quick to back off. They're saying, all right, well, we have to give up some of the farm, but you will prevent any potential dive from coming through there. So I think that was really well played on the EG side, and as kind of that backup plan, we'll see Meteos right back into the jungle, taking the wolves away. He's going to try to farm up this Rom too, just trying to steal away as much as he possibly can from Svenskeren.
The vertical jungling begin. He's just staying on this side, basically. I think Sven's going to try to do a little peekaboo here on the bot side of the map and figure out what's going on. Get a few wards in. He's going to say, okay, this is gone. That probably means the bottom half is gone, or at least know what's happening here. He did make himself present top. Why we saw Meteos so much in the jungle. Press the attack Kindred versus the Conqueror Meteos. Really looking to find Meteos somewhere and maybe pop him for some damage and really make his jungle life a little bit harder. Even though Olaf doesn't much. Roaming around with Stunt, though. They almost call FLICKR on his roam.
Yeah, and you know, I do think that the re-invade there was actually really smart from Meteos. Once they saw that the dive wasn't going to work, he did steal away those camps, and this is something that FLICKR likely cannot match, right? You know, this is not where he is going to have parity by stealing away the Wolves and the Grom. Meteos should be able to get something extra here. You know, even if FLICKR is to go over right now and take those camps, then Meteos is getting the advantage of taking this dragon. So, you know, Meteos with some nice pathing, he is actually going towards the warrior, so this is not going to be tank Olaf, which is honestly what we saw a lot more of in the LCS, but, you know, warrior Black Cleaver can be very popular, you know, and especially when you are playing a comp with multiple tanks, you know, as they are here, they have the Ornn, they have the Nautilus, sometimes your consistent damage can be a little bit lower, and this can really slot in well and kind of shore up some of that missing damage.
I think he's feeling like everybody on the other side is not going to have anything to deal with that warrior damage too, so he's excited to get that item completion in. Zuke and Ryoma, a little back and forth as the minions trip them up as they try to get a fight in the mid lane. 52-48. He gets enough TFs there and keep it even as another hook comes through. Stunt getting the second one we've seen here. Ben in action. Quick Infernum back as they get the Gravitum locked down. Stunt could be in danger as they pull Meteos in for the bait, but good fight from EG keeps them in a position to keep this aggression going, and now we're going to have to see how they continue to play it. Meteos stays. Ryoma has pressure on mid, so maybe they know that they can go for something
Power
else
shots,
across
though.
the map. Yeah, a few too close as he gets in there with the ultimate and finds himself taking the aggro.
Yeah, he's got to be pretty careful about that. It was a nice little bit of poke down on the Zuke, but when you're ulting from tower range back to tower range, it's going to be a couple hits that do come through. Jizuke is forced back to base, though, so you know, not too bad for Ryoma. He had already base, though, and I believe used teleport, so yeah, I mean, now he's in a little bit of trouble because he's actually going to have a pretty poor base off that. You know, he TP'd back to lane, gets poked out, Jizuke uses his TP, and now Jizuke is going to be able to deny farm from Ryoma because he's not going to be able to get back to lane in time, right? And that is a little bit of an issue there. And, you know, down on that bot side, we did get to see kind of that power of Yuumi plus Aphelios. If you fail your initial engage, if you do not land enough damage to really kind of threaten the all-in, then they will return so much damage on the way out. And that's kind of what we saw happen to Stun. You know, when Cody Sun wasn't really right there with him as Stun went in and missed his Q, then you can't really follow up on that any longer. And you're going to get slowed down by Yuumi, you're going to get chased down by Aphelios, and they can put out some really nasty damage.
And they're being super patient with the summoners. Barrier's still up. Heal is still up for the Yuumi. Zeyzal hasn't used that in the engages yet, so I think they're barrier first into heal, and even working that in this composition for themselves. So pushed off there, and they just continue to farm the lane. Meteos goes for his red again, and we may see him back to lane. Now we're going to see Kumo with his first roam to get some wards down as EG's trying to move their pressure around the map, feeling like something may happen soon, and the package in Jizuke's hands. I always remember that interview Jizuke did where he says, you know, people are just playing so safe. They're not as aggressive. I think that's why I get caught so much, because it's like I, you know, baited into a fight where they're so safe. You seem to figure out how to still make that work, which I love, and that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, where his solo kills are high, but the solo deaths are high. He was delivering in the end, though. It's kind of what you want.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now he's just going to package straight in there on a Meteos.
Straight into it. Meteos is going to get taken down. The red buff comes through very nicely on that, and that's a kill for Jizuke. As we say it, he pulls the trigger right in front of the team of 100 Thieves and picks their pockets. Rift Herald going over to FLICKR as well.
Yeah, very nice there. Jizuke just going straight in, had the support of the team. It was 100 Thieves, you know, kind of making that first move with Stunt going up, trying to take away that Rift Herald. But, you know, the opportunity was there. FLICKR is in the area. You could see up on that top side, Atrix did have the push, so they make the call to just go straight in. The sleep misses, and now Jizuke feels like this is his time. Kumo is roaming down. He drops that package right across the exit path for Meteos. So Meteos just got burned down by that package burn plus the corrupting potion. And a nice kill is picked up from Jizuke. He gets double buffs off that. They get the Rift Herald off that, and potentially could open up a fairly big lead.
He's just been waiting to get back on stage. It's been in the whole time. There's no being tempered for him. He goes all out. Takes the gold lead on that one as we see the chart come up. And substantially, quite a bit over what would be EG members right now. Cody's son even below him.
Yeah, I mean, and Jizuke's even doing the scaling build, right? It's not as though he went for an early power spike like a Sheen. You know, he was going for that tier build, and this is going to be a tier presence of mind build. We had been seeing this, you know, out of Corkies, out of Dravens, and where you get so much mana, but the engage coming through, Svenskeren is here.
They know he's been wanting the hook, so they give him one with Svenskeren just behind. Final chapter comes out, and Sven's going to have to turn now. Meteos and Ryoma here. How far can the Petal Star go is the question. The minion wave is here, and it's going to be a big blocker. Ryoma just pulls off. Says, I cannot do too much for you. Don't go too deep. Good communication, and an attempt here from 100 Thieves to go in.
It's another good disengage, though, by EG. You know, they have this really defensive summoner setup. They have the heal, the exhaust, the barrier, everything working for them in that regard. And every time Ryoma is leaving lane, they are calling that out. They are backing off. And, you know, this time, it's more farm lost again. It's Jizuke taking a tower play, almost getting that second. It's one hit from the second. But 100 Thieves looking for more plays.
Svenskeren getting caught out. 100 Thieves really going to boon off, get a big one off of this. Wait, Lambsor Spike goes down. He's still alive. Can he get over the wall, though, to get himself some help? He gets taken down by Cody's son. Quickly in the end of the fight. 1-for-1 on jungler status there. And we'll see if they can come back up. Teleports have really been used across the map for some of these fights. Kumo's about to come up, but teams are not holding back right now as they come up with some of their core items, and they want to get testing.
Yeah, they are looking to get pretty aggressive here. You know, despite the fact that 100 Thieves is playing this poke-comp, they do have a lot of engage. They have the early power of the Olaf, and I think that is really what they are trying to get something out of so far. You know, they are trying to play in their opponent's face and get the most out of this Olaf before it does start to fall off, because Olaf, especially going for this damage build against 3 marksmen later on in the game, you know, you pop your ult, you are reducing your kind of tankiness, and you're charging in to 3 marksmen who are just going to shred you. So Meteos wants to get stuff done now, and they have caught Svenskeren. He has no ult.
Stunt just walking through like an absolute unit. They're going to go into EG. 2 members down right away as 100 Thieves owns the jungle. Literally walking up, shaking hands with the side of Evil Geniuses, and they will find 2 members down. We're now 3-2 in kills. No turrets yet. We're 12.5 minutes in, and it has just been a brawl on the rim.
Yeah, 100 Thieves going to take the gold lead there. They grab their second dragon. It will be that Ocean Soul that is going to be spawning for this game. So that would be huge for this poke comp. It would make it so damn hard for EG if they can work towards that. Someday here, scrapping up on that top side with Kumo, who is trying to take away this blue buff, but Ryoma is on the roam, so Kumo's got to be a little careful. He gets it, though.
Going to make his way out. 100 Thieves playing a little proxy on this bot side of the map. Bang, throwing out the ultimate, Graviton lockdown with final chapter. They're trying to hold him in place for the teleport, but was this too telegraphed? Stunt's going to try to get out of this one. Flash is down for him as he just used it, so he will be a casualty of this fight. But I don't know if it's going to be much more. Going on to Bang was huge. He's down in CS from the fights that have been happening in the bot lane and all the aggression of 100 Thieves, so that's great for EG to pick something up.
Yeah, looking really good off that. I mean, Kumo has just been kind of in this farm lane against Someday, but he is the one who is up 20 CS. He is the one who is TPing down in the bottom lane, and Someday now trying to tag Svenskeren, can't do it. And it looks like that will just diffuse the situation as Ryoma's TPing down the bot side.
Everywhere. Not much they can do here. It looks like Meteos goes down, and EG is now pushing into the jungle. It's 100 Thieves was going in and going in. EG knows they still have power. They still have spike points to hit here. Kumo's going to be throwing down the Darkened Blade, but that one misses, so nobody gets knocked up as Jizuke belts out. Bang just on the other side, trying to hit a Equilibrium shot. There's another one. Infernal Chain onto Someday, but it's going to be the catch onto Kumo. And they get out of this one alive. So much touch and go right now. The heal coming in from the Zoomies. Oh, but he dives back into another shot. Just when you try to keep him alive, the support life. And Azazel is feeling it. The hook just missing on that one, too. Azazel, this is just not ending. They're going to go through the batting order again and get more out of the base to come back through. Sleepy Trouble bubble over the wall, but it's going to be a rocket that misses and just hits a bit of the big one there. The splash damage isn't enough to make the fight turn a tide. Either way, Bang still with Equilibrium shots from over the shoulder all the way down there on Tribrush. But this one's finally going to fizzle out. 100 Thieves gets their bot lane back in order, and they're going to start pushing this wave.
Yeah, they are going to start pushing this out, but you're already seeing the power of this Corki plus Yuumi combo. Jizuke is not exactly at a strong part of the game as far as his itemization is concerned, and he is really having that confidence to get aggressive. You know, when you do pair up with the Yuumi, yes, it is more of a poke combo on the 100 Thieves side, but Corki plus Yuumi can be a nasty poke combo in and of itself. Here, Meteos did spot that Kuma was there, but still felt like, hey, I can push for this. Cody-san is making the rotation, but he gets tagged up, perhaps didn't expect Yuumi to be there also, and with the arrival of that Yuumi, they couldn't actually push in further for it. Ryoma, though, roaming down from the mid lane, the sleep gets flashed. Jizuke is roaming down here too, packaging in, looking to get aggressive, and the fight looked like was going to diffuse a bit here, but the heals are coming out from the Yuumi. They feel confident to go back in. It's a good hook, though, from Stunt that was able to set them up for the last little bit of damage as Ryoma went over the top. It looked like procced that last auto out of his ultimate to knock him down. And here again, this is kind of Jizuke dodging out, playing this very intelligently. If you get tagged by that hook, they can kind of just jump on you and take you down, but he's able to Valk out of it and really has been playing very well as another TP coming down to the spot side looking for Cody.
Good wards, though. Jizuke's coming in. Gene is finished up here. Should be a lot of damage. Puts his Gatling gun right on top of Cody-san, but the minions are going to do a bit of work here. And Cody-san says, bring it on. Let's go. Two fight the champions that should actually be pretty decent at fighting there, but with Corki up close and the Gatling, Cody-san should have been shredded, so well played there. Flash was used, and Flash teleport used for Jizuke.
Yeah, Cody does get the additional summoner in the end. The ult flash looking pretty fancy from Cody. It kind of looked funny because the ultimate animation looked as though he was going to be shooting it out the wrong way, but it still came from that original point where he flashes from. So did tag Jizuke with it, and that does diffuse. 100 Thieves are able to grab what is actually the first turret of the game. Almost 17 minutes in, both teams have been able to defend these turrets very, very well. And we're nearly dead even at this point in the game. Only a couple hundred gold actually separating these two squads. The main advantage, though, is the dragons. And 100 Thieves have got to continue to snowball these dragons. They are looking for soul. They are looking to have that. And if you can grab that with your poke comp, it's going to become incredibly difficult for EG. And likewise, if EG is able to grab Ocean Soul, they're going to shrug off most of the damage that is going to be done here by the Ezreal, by the Zoe, and it's going to become nearly impossible, it feels like, for whichever team doesn't get the Soul.
Looking at how both teams came in, just what lanes were played through. I'd say bottom was pretty big for both here. FlyQuest going down a bit early, Meteos continuing to follow early, and EG, as you were saying, just continued to have that ability to disengage, but the middle of the map has seemed to just be kind of the Mad Max Dome where you don't know who's going to win the fight just yet. Oh my word, more shots over the wall. It seriously is. They're setting it up right here. Ward's encroaching in here from the side of 100 Thieves, so they're going to have the entry a little bit better. Looks like they may have won the second Ocean Drake themselves, or I should say an Ocean Drake themselves. Third Drake of the game. I hope this is a comp in order that they put together in Champion Select, but the fight after is the Mad Max Dome. FlyQuest goes in, throws down the Lambs Respite. They're going to lose Kumo very fast up top. You can see EG is kind of like reconsidering. They're looking at 100 Thieves saying, which way out? Where's the exit? Bang is slowly moving his way out. Meteos, does he want it? Does he want it? Can't get the undertow to hit.
He's getting healed
up. And now Jizuke's coming back. Like you said, Azale, the catch potential, the ability to keep going. Doesn't matter if he's taking Mystic shots to the face. That's going to be the double big one! Takes 2 down, collateral damage, and that's the shutdown onto Cody-san.
Nicely done. The beginning of the fight was going the way of 100 Thieves. They're the ones who grabbed the dragon, but these Yuumi heals are coming in clutch for EG in the extended fight, healing back up, allowing Jizuke to get aggressive and just hitting him with the witness me going in back style.
You saw it. You saw it. The package was filled with spray paint. He used it, and we witnessed. Jizuke is just, that style has not stopped. It is his. He continues to play it, and the team seems so much more on board, and I'm with it. Love seeing it.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing it at intelligent times, though. That is the thing that I think is so impressive about Jizuke, is that he can pull off, these crazy packages and everything, but, just like what we saw around that Ripshell fight, he waited until sleep was used. He's able to identify the key spells that could actually catch him out. If he does go for these aggressive plays, he avoids them or waits for them to be expended, then he goes. And that tells me that he's able to actually really, really analyze these fights at such a high level and do it incredibly fast to know the right time that he can go in to really pick his moment. And he is getting to such a strong point in the game now when he actually completes that Muramena when that does evolve, and it just did now. That plus Triforce, he's building towards the Death Dance. He is going to be fairly tanky when he does have that Death Dance, and he is going to be so damn hard to actually take down with the Yumi strapped to his back.
And for coming out for Evil Geniuses, you have to say that this is awesome to see, right? This was a team probably arguably with the most momentum besides Cloud9, and they still find it here starting in the Summer Split. A little back and forth in the early game, let the junglers figure out what's going on, get some input, hit 6, hit the fight, start throwing haymakers. Kumo here on the bot side now against Someday. We'll see the team start to collapse. Who can do it better as everybody congregates on the bot side here? Evil Genius is going to have the 3-2. Just a bit of a ways away as Ryoma is the final chapter. Does tag Someday. Horn coming through. Going to lock up only one, but he's not even under the turret as Jizuke gets away from the turret aggro. Zoomies from the Yumis, and Kumo's going to have that right now as he tries to take down Ryoma. Oh, Lamb's Respite comes down. These fights are lasting forever, and it's not going to be in favor of 100 Thieves. Or is it? Kumo comes up with the Darkened Blade. There's the follow-up for more Zoomies from the Yumi, and it's going to be another kill. It's so back and forth, but it looks like they tied the shoelaces together of 100 Thieves at the last moment, and we're able to come out on it.
That's a great collapse again. EG, they're the ones looking for the chase down. They moved first, and you said it best, Rib. The Zoomies from the Yumis kept up Kumis. They're able to keep the Aatrox alive. It is these extended fights where EG is coming out on top, and it looks kind of funny when you first see the level 14 Someday running away from the level 12 Kumo, but you realize the collapse is just coming in so quickly. Jizuke has been very fast on the rotations, getting sped up, by Azazel playing the Yumi. And this combo is going to become unstoppable. He has the Athenes now, and is such a critical item for Yumi because you hit those Qs constantly throughout the fight, and then you're getting these really, large heals, these big boosts from that Athenes on every single time you're dropping those E's, as long as you're connecting with your Qs. And Zazel's been doing a great job of that so far.
Set up around Dragon. They have 50 seconds for that Ocean that has changed our Rift. Adding a bit more foliage. And now we will see if they can get another one to get soul point. Fighting it might be really tough at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think both teams have got to go for it. I think there's really no option because, EG, it does feel like, is taking more and more of an advantage in these fights. Corki is only going to get stronger and stronger and stronger throughout the game, right? This is an incredibly powerful late game champion. I do think that Jizuke waited too long, though, and he's potentially not going to be able to reset before the fight. He should have a lot of gold on him. Hasn't been back to base in a long time. And it's now 10 seconds on this Ocean Dragon, so he's going to have to TP back if he wants to actually be around, and this is going to give priority, to set up first 400 Thieves, and they're going to be the ones who have vision down. They're going to be the ones who are looking for poke in this potential Ocean Soul fight. EG's got to stop them here, and Kumo is actually snuck in. He is sitting in this brush. I don't think they know he's there. They may have spotted him walking down, but they don't know exactly where he is, and he is going to pop out now.
Yeah, they just saw him for a moment. It's going to be a pincer move here. 100 Thieves right in the middle. It's the Dome. Azael. Can they get the fight out? It's going to be unstoppable for Meteos, but he goes down immediately, damaged towards the Bramble Pit. Jizuke low. It doesn't look like they're going to get out of this one alive, and he does get hit.
Cody got him.
Cody's son hitting the shots that he needs to hit, and he's going to go forward onto Bang. No, he plays it safe, knowing Kumo's behind, and now Kumo's starting to come around from the backside. They're going to have to rethink this fight on the side. 100 Thieves, and it is just such a mess when it starts. Lamb's Respite keeping some alive, breaking off with the displacement of some of these abilities, and then you see Meteos going down immediately. Ryoma follows, and it's a 2-for-2 overall.
They're going to TP in. They're going to keep this going here. Both those DPS do have TP. Someday has arrived. They know they want to fight for this, but they're getting kited out.
Cody's son, can he make the shots happen here? Just missing a few of the W's as he gets himself into position. And he still has the Arcane Shift to keep himself safe here. Cannot get any procs off. and just continues the Mystic shots. The fight's touch and go. Looks like the Drake may not be 100 Thieves just yet, but like you said, they do not want to give up the chance for that soul point on Drake. The comp will be able to stay up forever, throw poke forever, and be in Evil Genius's face. That's what Evil Geniuses is fighting against right now and trying to stop with this Drake. Cody Sun up front. Ryoma with the paddle stars, trying to throw out even more as Jizuke's getting blue as fast as he can to spit out missiles. Finally has it, his resources are up, and he is now trying to get into the fight with his team. They've set up, scaring each other. Eyes are in the whites, I should say, of their eyes. And now at 25 minutes in, Kumo on the backside. Ryoma keeping him at bay. Stun's going to be here. Depth charge is not up for him just yet. He's got about 10 seconds left on it to throw out a big hit. Jizuke gets caught up by the Volcanic Rupture a moment. And now it's up to the front line. Stun and Someday could have the ultimates ready. Jizuke, no package, so he's not going all the way in. But this fight has been going on already. Tempting Dragon for at least 40 seconds. Big rockets coming out, only 3 in charge.
DP for the flank.
Keep an eye under that bottom. Since Garen's going to be in the pit, this means they're tempting the Drake. And here comes Kumo from behind 100 Thieves. Ryoma goes down immediately. Stun's going to be low, and he tries to get back into Lamser's fight, and he makes the perfect step, so he stays alive. EG is in the pit, though. They're able to swarm down on 100 Thieves. Cody Sun's getting hit up. Kumo just misses going over the wall with Darkened Blade, and Someday's going to have to retreat as well. EG says, no Drake for us. We're going for Baron. We are getting the objectives. What a fight, Azael. That was back and forth for so long.
That was like 5 minutes straight of fights, non-stop, respawn, run it back, go again, and it's not going to stop yet. Somebody and Cody said no. They've got to try to prevent this Baron, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Spencerion's got another charge of Smite. He should be able to secure this for the team.
Cody Sun with no shot over. Jizuke turns immediately. Baron is going to be grabbed by Spenceryn. And they are making their way to safety on the side of Evil Geniuses. They plotted out. The master plan has come to be Baron in their hands. Now they head back to their evil lair before they come back.
Very well done by EG.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, so much of that came down to the fact that since Garrett had the ultimate available, you can use that ultimate to actually immune your opponent's smite on the dragon, and that's what it looked like he did in that fight. You drop the Lamser's fight when the dragon gets slow, you try to anticipate your opponent's smite going through. Meteos didn't have smite for when that ult expires. You drop it, and your opponent is going to win that smite fight, and that was just so well done. And now Ryoma going to get chased down here.
No way! You have to remember the speed, the distance they can cover together in Final Chapter's reach. Ryoma forgot for just a moment with even flash up. He goes down.
It's just an aggressive chase there from EG. They know how powerful they are right now with this Corki Yuumi. You know, the flash, the Valkyrie, everything to chase down onto Ryoma, who didn't see them coming from over that wall. And this could actually just be a death push here. I don't know if they can deal with EG at this point in the game.
First turret's going to be going down quite fast. Nexus is just past this inhibitor, and straight down the middle is not the way you usually see it. The sides usually get broken for a bit of distraction. Do EG have the strength to do it right now? They may. They reconsider and possibly giving over too many kills in the attack.
Yeah, they don't want to take anything too recklessly and go for any sort of big risk. I do think they're in such a strong point that there's not really any answer for Jizuke at this point in the game, but you know, this is how you make it a sure thing. Go around to the side lanes, clear up the towers, get the extra gold in your squad, because they do scale very, very well. And we'll see if 100 Thieves can find any sort of major poke to engage off of, because really that's what it's relying on now. Yuumi has so much healing, so if you're not consistently landing the Ezreal and Zoe poke to get people low, you cannot use your hard engage from the Ornn, from the Nautilus, and this Olaf flying in, and it just feels like EG has played it better. They've played it very smart, and they're closing in on a second inhib here.
Kumo trying to tempt with the stopwatch. He gets himself to safety. He's able to charge over the wall there with a dash. Ryoma looking for shots from the side, trying to get the backline. Hitting the front doesn't do much for him, so you see him going from the side, trying to hit these different angles with Battlestar. And here's the second inhibitor going down now in favor of Evil Geniuses. Method to their madness coming through as they go one by one. The last one to push is Bot. They have quite a bit of work to do in pruning that wave and getting it back up there. But we'll see if they can keep the other lanes going. Make it happen with the map pretty much objective free. Means they can go to any lane they want.
Yeah, they are looking to be in such a position of control here. The only hope, it feels like, 400 Thieves is, you have got to just coin flip at this soul, and it's not going to be a 50-50. It's going to be a lot worse than that for you at this point. We see Jizuke. I mean, just look at the itemization in the mid lane. There's 1 item complete for Ryoma. Yeah, he's got a lot of pieces, but there's 4 complete items to 1 on Jizuke, and he's 3 levels up. It's just not even close. No one can compete with this guy.
Almost has the Flame Horizon. 197 for Ryoma. 272. Look at that.
Casual 5K gold.
Don't worry about it. He knows. Fleet footwork on that Corki as he's flying forward. They know they want to go fast. Airy for Zazel on the Yumi. The Yuki attached to him. And we have the Guardian Angel from Kumo that's been there kind of wreaking havoc on 100 Thieves' chances to get themselves in. Your inhibitor timers on the bottom left of the map, so you can keep track of those and how it may make EG coordinate themselves into a next attack. We already know they need the bot turret. Figure out see how they're going to get it. 20 seconds on that break. What do they do?
Yeah, it looks like they're just trying to set up heavily for the Dragon. You can see Jizuke pushing in the bot lane. They know that the Corki is going to be pretty safe unless there's a lot of members going down towards him. So as long as you see 3-4 people, you know that Jizuke is safe to push that. He's going to be pressuring the tower. They're already on the Dragon, so 100 Thieves not even going to try to grab this Dragon. They know they don't have the vision. They know they don't have the positioning. So at this point, they're just hoping that you can land that perfect Zoe combo, one-shot someone, that you can land enough Ezreal poke to engage off of, but it's going to be an uphill battle, and especially when your opponents are in a pushing position like this, it's very easy for them to keep minions in between you and them, which is going to make it a lot more difficult to hit those mystic shots, to hit those sleeps that they really do need to stand a chance.
Yeah, right? You're Jizuke, you have an entire base front to walk around and get a different angle as you try to just hit people on the back line with missiles. He's having a great time. Level 17 right now. Highest in the game by quite a bit. 16's chasing on the top side of the map, but he is just feeling good. And that's going to help the team. The confidence for Evil Geniuses to come out as strong as they ended the split is something that you really can put a value to. You need to know the team's working well, and that will carry.
Yeah, one of the things that is working for 100 Thieves right now is they do obviously have the full kind of suite of Ornn upgrades. And you can see all of the major carries do have that Ornn upgrade already. Only person missing it would be Stunt. So that is pretty nice. There is some additional gold value within their team. And if they can find a pick, then it's maybe manageable. And if you find a pick and then you get the Dragon, then you're on Soul, then maybe you can start scraping your way back into this. But EG has just been playing it out so intelligently, controlling vision on both sides of the map. You can see that they are now setting up for the potential Baron play. And again, it's really, really tough to be face checking into this. Jizuke is still down on that bottom side. They see all of 100 Thieves pushing out mid lane, so he's just going to threaten the triple inhib. And sure, you can send back Someday, but Someday can't deal with him alone. You're going to have to send multiple members, which opens up the chance for EG to just rush down a Baron, because he's not the only marksman on the team. They've got 3 of them, and they're going to shred the Baron.
Yeah, top pings are going question mark towards that top inhibitor as he tries to push Jizuke off the wave. A lot of just split members right now for 100 Thieves. Ryoma second brush with that paddle star. EG knows the fight may be coming in for the moment, and they're fine to kind of play with 100 Thieves, make them not be able to get back to base, stop backs, and let these minions do some work. Teleport.
Oh, he's TP.
Those minions inside the base. They're going to go for the straight end here. Jizuke goes in the base. Going to have big shots with the Triforce on. Here comes the Ornhorn. This is the Mad Max Dome that EG has just dove into. 200 Thieves has the answer. Can they assess the fight and figure out what the priority targets are? And I don't know. Kumo's huge. Stunt's not doing the damage. There's no follow-up as Meteos is still running into the base, and Someday can't deliver it himself with Cody Sun throwing pies over his shoulder. Lamb's spike goes down so they can stay a little bit longer in front of the turret. Evil Genius is getting knocked out quite hard there, and they are going to be able to take down Meteos on 100 Thieves. Now Someday falls, the Nexus turret falls, and now the Nexus will go down. EG will find their first victory in the 2020 Summer Split.
Damn, what a way to end it, Riv. TPing from the bot lane to the Nexus. Jizuke, they found that opportunity. He TP's in, Kumo TP'd in, the whole squad shows up, and they rush down that Nexus, getting the kills, closing out the game 33 minutes in. EG starting the season off with a bang. You have got to give so much credit to that Zazel and Jizuke combo. They looked so good.
We came into this one Not being too hard, but we were saying, where is the engage in this composition? Where is that go button? How do you make
It's Jizuke.
how do you go forward? Oh, that's right. They have Jizuke. But to make that happen as well and look at it, they absorbed a lot. With the Kindred ultimate, they were able to say, hey, there's the brunt of 100 Thieves fight. Now let's start to push back because they gave us a go button. So really well executed in that sense of kind of finding what 100 Thieves wanted to do and shutting that down.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves, I think, had a good game plan, but it just kind of fell apart in some of the skirmishes. I felt like EG did a better job collapsing. They were usually the first ones to move. They were more effective with their roams. We saw, even up in that top lane, you have kind of the big star of 100 Thieves, who is Someday, but he's playing Ornn. He is kind of more farming it out against Kumo, and Kumo was able to get the push and find an opportunity to TP down to bot lane to find kills, and it was these sort of plays that really did change kind of the trajectory of that game, because once Jizuke got going, once he picked up a couple of those kills, there was just no stopping this guy.
And I don't think this game really played out how the early game kind of told us. We had a lot of bottom lane action. We expect to see one of the AADs go off, whether it was Ezreal or Aphelios. And then you forget Corki's there. Corki starts hitting spikes. And I think you mentioned at 1.4 items to something else. Like, once they got scaling
4 items to 1.
four items to 1. And so, as Captain Flower says, some garage sale items. It was just almost unstoppable there, and it was good to see that 100 Thieves were still putting up a fight. They were kind of trying to find ways back in. It seemed like they got a little timid on finding a pincer move or getting Ornn to the side. Mm-hmm. Once Ornn wouldn't be there, I don't blame them. EG would have engaged. But EG also, for them to keep pressuring on that, find a way for the win. They didn't really falter too much, and they knew they had that win and pushed to the next.
Yeah, I mean, it was really nice, honestly. I do think that the Yuumi worked really, really well for EG because it was this poke comp where they were trying to whittle them down, and Yuumi answered a lot of that. It didn't feel like Ryoma ever got strong enough or was able to land enough poke for 100 Thieves to hard engage off of, right? That is the game plan. Whittle them down with Ezreal and the Zoe, right, and then hard engage, utilizing the Ornn, utilizing the Nautilus. But for the most part, they just weren't strong enough, and they didn't hit enough poke to actually get to that point. And Jizuke was winning out on those poke battles. Yuumi was healing them up through the poke that they did land, and then it was usually Jizuke going forward and cleaning up those fights.
Once we saw the Frozen Gauntlet come out of Cody's Son, I thought there would be a little safety being able to shut down the re-engage coming in from Evil Geniuses, but I always buy that item as well, and I'm just like, why don't they seem to be slowed enough? What's going on? And yeah, they continuously just everybody was in his face. Stunt was trying to peel him off. So seeing that just showed you how determined EG was. Our next game coming up is Fly versus Cloud9. I'm excited. If we're going to continue to see kind of the power teams ended the split with, what are we going to get out of next game? Because FlyQuest was surprising people, and Cloud9 was just first place and on, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a rematch of the finals, right? Cloud9, I think, was arguably the most dominant split we have ever seen in LCS history. In spring, they crushed everyone in the regular season. They crushed everyone in the playoffs. That does include FlyQuest, but FlyQuest, with that swap over to solo, looked like they were getting stronger, and they hadn't had much time with him at all, in playoffs. They really didn't play much with him in the regular season. So now, having this time off, having the off-season practice, preparing for summer, we get to see how high of a level is FlyQuest, because the expectations are actually pretty high for them coming into this split. A lot of people think they're a very solid team with that upgrade in the top lane, that they could compete at the top, and this is going to be a big first test for both these squads.
Absolutely. And as we are taking a pause right here, Pastry is standing by as we get an interview set up, so we're going to be able to hear from the victorious team in just a few minutes as we continue to talk about that victory, our first game of the split, what we've really been seeing. Obviously, the Varus banned out once again. There's not much he's going to be seeing, I believe, in the split. I think he said Perks got him at 909. Was that?
It was like 41, 42 bans and 1 pick, and Perks is the only one who got him. Yeah, 909 earlier today.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the KDA immediately. But other than that, I think the first game went as expected when we saw the teams coming in. The poke comp from 100 Thieves didn't really get underway, and when you see a poke comp not get underway, you kind of get taken behind and pushed into your base. So not much they could do there. Next game, I feel like it's going to be tough for FlyQuest overall. 1, you have Blabber in the jungle, and 2, he usually has winning lanes. So that's going to be so tough to start on. I hope FlyQuest is ready to come out picking lanes that can all fight for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to be, right? Because Jungle, I think, if anything, is even stronger than it was last split. This is the reigning MVP, Blabber, coming in, and you're saying he's going to be doing even more. He's going to be even stronger, potentially. And that's something that's really, really frightening. And, we heard him talk a lot in spring about what you just referenced, that they almost always have winning lanes, right? That, like, every lane is winning. And if you pick a winning, Jungle matchup for the reigning MVP when Jungle is really strong and all your lanes are pushed in, then it could be really, really, really tough for Santorin. So, it's not going to be just about that 1v1 between Santorin and Blabber. It's going to be about, can the FlyQuest lanes hold up to C9? Can they challenge them in the early game to make it to the mid game with a chance? Because Cloud9 really does excel there too. That is where they have been, as good or better than any other team at actually pushing the pace of the game, at closing out those games so fast. Because it wasn't just the 17-1 record that impressed. It was the fact that they were winning almost every single game in 30 minutes or less.
That's true. And you see Power of Evil starting to step up a little bit more. You thought he might have been reaching a ceiling, and then he kind of just punches through that. And we're seeing this Power of Evil that's coming back, taking out 3 in a fight, being able to control the game from the team. Turtle and Ignar in the bot lane really showing up as well towards the end of that one. So seeing what FlyQuest can do, I think, from surprising people, now that they have the big backing, they have this whole new kind of thought process moving forward. It really seems to have refreshed more than just kind of the players. It's refreshed the play style, and it's coming out in big ways for them. So that game, Cloud9 versus FlyQuest, coming up in just a few minutes as we continue to set this one up. Looking back at the EG game, 100 Thieves, as we have some things to talk about here. The changes that we might see for EG, they talked about it a little bit, is when could Huni be in? Maybe not, maybe now, maybe later. What's going to happen with that, right? But it's all about having those import slots and which ones.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting, right? I know there is kind of a lot of discussion about, like, oh, where's the right spot to use Huni? And maybe it sounds harsh to say, but I don't think there is a right spot to use Huni right now. I just think that Bang and Jizuke are so damn good for the team. I mean, we saw Jizuke have his monster performance, but Bang was playing well too. I think Bang was one of the best marksman players in the league in spring. I just don't think it makes sense to sub them out right now unless they are really underperforming. That has not been something that I have seen thus far. So, for me, it's more of like a wait and see. If there's a lot of problems with the team, then hey, you can make something up with Huni. But my belief is that the real reason they got Huni is for when he becomes a resident next spring. Because when he becomes a resident in spring, then you can have him, Bang, and Jizuke, all in the lineup at the same time.
Right.
Pair that with Svenskeren, who's already a resident. Zazel, already a resident there, obviously too. So then you have perhaps even a stronger lineup, because most of the question marks about EG were kind of pointing towards the top lane. People had a lot of concerns about Kumo, but Kumo played great today against Someday, who is one of the best laners in the league, albeit he was playing a tank. It's still a good sign for him, and he's going to have some time, I think, to try to improve and try to prove himself and fight for that starting spot potentially for spring 2021.
All right, awesome. Well, we're about to hear from them in just a moment as well. Pastry standing by with an interview with Jizuke. Hear from them.
Hey, thank you so much. And we have our winners, Evil Geniuses. Congratulations. You guys did great out there. You defeated the towers and went after the Nexus, and couldn't have done it better myself. Congrats on the winners. Evil Geniuses, how do you feel? That's good. And of course, our challenging team, 100 Thieves. Aww. You guys fought gallantly. How do you feel? It's okay. You get them next time. How about we start off with a celebratory song for the winners? DJ, play the music.
Legends never die.
Oh, wrong song.
The world is calling you.
Wrong, same song. Sorry, we're saving that one for last. DJ, play the music. Raven transformation. Raven! Don't forget to try out the new pool party skin. Back to you. We're setting it back to commercial break. Hope you like that song. There's more coming up with C9 versus FlyQuest. See you guys in commercial break. Back to commercial break is what I meant to say. No, the real commercial break.
Expecting
you. Aha! And I brought you a gift so you can fight properly. Red Bull.
Oh!
How nice.
Of you.
But also
rather
stupid.
Mine.
Mine.
No, mine.
No, mine.
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 Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back, everybody, to Friday Night League. We are moments away from the rematch you have all been waiting for, FlyQuest versus Cloud9. But before we get into the matchup, there is the small matter of the banner ceremony, because it don't matter that we went full digital. Where there's a champion, there's a banner.
My main goals was for the team to win LCS, so that's one check mark.
Cloud9 waited 6 years, and they will hoist the trophy again. For all 5 players, the first time in their careers, the Nexus falls, FLICKR deals the killing blow, and Cloud9 win the 2020 LCS Spring Split.
I mean, the celebration that we had right after the game was, I didn't expect it to be that insane.
Vincent, our manager, came running with like this bowl of fake confetti he made, and he was like so excited, and I was really happy. It was a great moment.
I got lots of talented players, and I never doubt my coaching skills or game understanding. So if mixed together, it has to be good, no?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to all my fans, all the C9 fans for cheering for us, even though we haven't been winning.
Like this split in particular was like, it was like really crazy how many people were reaching out and being super supportive. So I want to say like it really helps and it like actually does matter. So like thank you for that.
All right, C9 fans, we can get it. The ones who still stuck around obviously loved us. So the ones who hated us and took off to TL, maybe now's a good time to come back. And maybe next time you'll have a little more faith when we lose the off season again.
Next season though, or next year, we'll probably keep winning and we'll probably keep improve ourselves so we can able to like win 4 straight in a row or 5 or I don't know, 6. So yeah, we'll make that happen and see you guys in the other finals.
What a wonderful moment there to end the spring split, and a very deserving Cloud9 with that overall championship victory. And let's face it, based off of what we saw during that last split, it's really hard to think about anyone challenging the dominance that they executed despite all the roster moves and everything that we have seen. So, you just got to give them that major props to this team here. I mean, probably Mark, Kobe, I think that you were all there in person. I'm sure that you shared the sentiment that we had witnessed through the webcams.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a super hype moment for them. I'm glad they were able to get their little ceremony as best they could with the banner drop. And they also got it sent to them. I wonder if they like put that up somewhere in the room where they're playing these games out of now. It's super cool to see.
Definitely. And I mean, looking at this team compared to FlyQuest that we're about to be seeing in a moment, I want to hop into maybe some of the matchups that we will be looking into. Particularly, we got to talk about Blabber. He was the MVP of the last split for Honda MVP. Outstanding jungler performance from him throughout the split and prior. So Kobe, as our resident expert in the jungle here on the desk, do you think with the changes that we have seen so far through the patches that Blabber could be an even scarier monster this time around?
Yeah, I mean, Blabber I know specifically is very well situated because I've talked to him. He plays literally every single one of these champions, and he plays them very well. Plus, Cloud9's style of being aggressive early on, using winning lane matchups to take over the entire map, just plays really well right now. And in setting the stage, we have to remember Cloud9, last splits Cloud9, that's the most domination over a single split that we have ever seen from an LCS team. So I think that adds a lot of excitement, you know, looking for how they're going to continue off that extremely dominating split. And I think that Blabber is going to lead the charge there as Spring Split MVP.
And it's crazy when we're talking about the Honda MVP and all the selections that were made. It's not like Blabber was way extended above all his teammates. Everyone showed so much prowess within their role, becoming, well, the all-star for that role in particular. So, Mark, if we're looking just general before we look at a specific matchup between FlyQuest and Cloud9, how is the fact that Cloud9 has had this much consistency? Do you think that you'll see anything outstanding from them, some innovation, or are they going to try and still execute in the same way that we've seen in the past?
I mean, C9's always been a good team about trying new things out in the meta. They were really quick to pick up Senna last split with Sven having fantastic performances on it. I'm sure they'll break out the Frozen Mallet Senna if that comes to them. So anything that's starting to show up more in the meta, I'm sure they're already well practiced on it. And they're also good about inventing their own combos. Like with Graves being so prevalent, some teams just kind of take it and put it in the jungle and let it be self-serving and kind of autonomous, but they're the kind of team who would find a way to empower it as well, whether that's through mid or support synergies. So I'm really excited to see what C9 can cook up in this meta.
It's no secret that Cloud9 made a statement during the last split, but I think it's also fair to say that their opponents in this upcoming match did as well. I mean, FlyQuest, they had an exciting climb to finals, and on top of that, we were able to follow their charity initiative that they had with TreeQuest. But if you've been following on social media, you may have seen that on top of the committing of $10,000 to the ACLU in support of Black Lives Matter, which the LCS will match, FlyQuest is also kicking off a new mission with FlyQuest that is here for the Summer Split.
Hi guys, Trisha here with a big announcement. First off, I wanted to thank our players, our friends, and all of you once again for your support during our Spring Split campaign, TreeQuest. Thanks to everyone, we were able to plant 10,000 trees. We started our Go Green initiative because we wanted to showcase our greatness in humanity. We believe everyone has the ability to affect real change for our planet, and we want to facilitate ways for us to address important environmental issues together. As the seasons change, so do we. That's why we're going from green to marine, from trees to seas, and from floral to coral. And yes, we intentionally made that rhyme. I hope all of you guys have seen our jerseys and that you like it as much as we do. So without further ado, I'd like to announce FlyQuest summer campaign, SeaQuest. This time around, we will be donating to the Coral Reef Alliance. We will donate $1 for each kill, $10 for each ocean drake, and $100 for each FlyQuest victory for our LCS and Academy teams this summer split. We are aiming to become the Coral Reef Alliance's Champions of the Reef, which is a title that they deem to anyone who donates $10,000 or more. As we move through the split, we will also be unveiling some other cool campaigns around plastic reduction for our ocean, saving the wild turtles, and much more. So stay tuned for those. As always, thank you so much for your support, and we hope that you continue to do so as we not only strive to be the champions of the Rift, but also champions of the Reef. From all of us at FlyQuest, we sincerely thank you. Let's showcase greatness together.
SeaQuest, baby. The Floridian in me is very happy about that, having spent a lot of time on the beach. But as far as the gameplay goes and the players, it may be easy to forget Solo was an addition towards the end of that last split, and now we get to see him in full fruition throughout this split. So, Prolly, what do you make of his impact on the team and what could come in the future?
Yeah, I mean, even before he came in, FlyQuest was really known for having like pretty decent drafts. Coach Curry's okay, he's trying, but mostly just they had really good teamwork and good team play. And once Solo came in, they got like kind of a half of a threat in the top lane where you actually couldn't ignore that lane anymore. So they didn't get a full season of practice with him, or sorry, full split with Solo. So now that they didn't make any roster changes, but they're keeping Solo in the top lane, I think FlyQuest is gonna start off at a really high point like they ended in spring, and they're gonna be able to do a really well job in summer. Really good job.
Definitely excited to see. I know they've been putting the work in, and that's the pressure for FlyQuest going into this next match. We're going to go to a short break, but when we return, we'll be heading into this game between FlyQuest and Cloud9.
Welcome to Assist of the Day, presented by State Farm. In Game 1 of the set between Cloud9 and FlyQuest, everything was even for the beginning of the game. But things started to go downhill fast for FlyQuest as Wild Turtle took a hook to the face from Vulcan. This was followed up by more CC from his ultimate, while Sven melted him with bullet time. With more plays like this, Cloud9 would go on to take the win in Game 1.
Those cravens backstab me, deceive me. Never shall I tolerate their crimes again. Now let the hunt begin. Yeah. 7,000 souls scared and daunted, such a tale of woe. Not too long ago, this village was a golden scene of hope. Hold down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace, restore our glory to live forever. Yeah, bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. Yeah. I am the light bringer. Now listen, fellow warriors, I ask you, should my campaign come to an end? There's way more to avenge. Oh, 50 million souls living in this realm.
Welcome back to Friday Night League, where we are gearing up for our spring finals rematch, Cloud9 versus FlyQuest. I still have Azale here with me as we are about to give you this game as it is played live, and we'll see if these two teams still have what it takes. Cloud9 obviously fielding Licorice, Blabber, Niski, Sven, and Vulcan as they go against FlyQuest.
FlyQuest over on the red side today, going to be having Solo in the top lane, Santorin in the jungle, Power of Evil as the mid laner, the bot and support going to be Wild Turtle alongside Ignar. But a lot of questions about these two teams coming into this split. Cloud9 in particular, people were so impressed by them in spring, obviously didn't get a chance to showcase their skills at MSI due to COVID, just kind of changing the landscape of the world. But people are very hopeful that they can maintain that level, and that's what I am looking to see. Can they bring their dominance from spring into summer? Can they, maintain that exceptionally high level and push towards Worlds? And likewise, can FlyQuest, now having had time to practice with Solo, challenge that level from Cloud9 and really show that they can take the next step and, become a title contender? Because they made the finals in spring, which was really unexpected when you were thinking about it going into that split. And that was a big step, but clearly there was still a big gap between them and Cloud9. Yep. They were dominating that finals, and they're looking to see if they can challenge them here tonight.
I think as FLICKR said it on his Twitter, champions and undefeated at MSI. So he's just got the right mentality. He knows. He's feeling the power as they get Olaf in there. And you're right about FlyQuest. They place fourth in the regular split, find themselves in the finals against Cloud9 and take second off of that. So I think the power's still there. You're right. I think they can show it again. And we'll have to see what they can do. Already looking to get in the ring as Solo maybe locked in the set. We'll see where that does decide to go. And we're excited to see the junglers in this one as well. This, what is Blabber's meta everything era right now? These are his champions. Yes, the Honda MVP is going to pick something spicy here, I hope, and show us what he's.
Yeah, well, we're assuming he's going to be playing that Olaf that has been locked in. There is a possibility, obviously very slight, of it being flexed around, but you can pretty much assume that is going to be Olaf for Blabber. The
0.001% possibility.
Yeah, maybe up at the top lane. You see it every once in a while in solo queues top lane, but in competitive it pretty much stays in the jungle.
Exactly, yeah.
So jungle and bot locked in. On the other side, they are going to have that Karma Ezreal. We did see in the previous game, Karma was banned against the team that did pick Ezreal to try to deny this sort of heavy poke combo. This is a duo lane that relies very heavily on keeping their opponents pressured the whole time. In an all-in, it can be very difficult for these two champions, against the Nautilus, against the Aphelios. So they have to prevent that potential all-in by chipping them away, by keeping the Nautilus low enough so that Vulcan doesn't feel comfortable to look for that all-in.
Zero getting banned out against Power of Evil. They'll have the Syndra. Oh no, Syndra's up down on the right side, along with the Varus, who we always expect. The Yuumi does get banned out this game, though. Pretty similar bans to last game, as we see the Zoe, however, getting banned out here. Not going to the hands of this. The final ban maybe directed right back at that mid lane, maybe a jungle if you don't feel like that set's.
Yeah, very interesting. Seeing that Zoe banned out here. It's not as much a Power of Evil champion. It does pair well with the Ezreal. As we saw 100 Thieves going for that last game. They could, with the Corki, with the Zoe banned out. With the Zoe and the Azir banned out, they could look towards something like the Corki if they want to take that away, deny that from Niski. Nidalee actually banned, so a lot of these junglers being banned out against Santorin. Nidalee, Graves, two of the best power farmers, people who can aggressively counter jungle their opponents in this meta. It is going to be Lee Sin instead locked in here for Santorin, so Power of Evil will have the last pick here in that mid lane to try to grab the counter pick, and I'm interested to see where Cloud9 wants to go. LeBlanc, I do think, fits Niski's style a lot more than Corki. It's something where you can be a little bit more proactive. They're going to have a very powerful mid-jungle 2v2 with that Olaf, and if you can get priority in the mid lane, LeBlanc can start to get aggressive alongside Blabber on this Olaf, start invading the Lee Sin, start trying to take away those camps, and I think that's the kind of style you're going to see Cloud9 looking for.
And pretty aggressive lane so far until we see top right is what we expected from C9 to give Blabber an even easier jungle in the early game that he doesn't have to go assist. And it's something that can stay safe or at least poke out its opponent. And the Jace gets locked in here for LCKR. Man leading the team now on the side of Cloud9. That's going to be towards the top side. Final pick here, FlyQuest, 15 seconds.
Pretty exciting to see that locked in. It has not had the most sterling reputation in the LCS. The Jace, usually not doing so hot. We'll see if FLICKR can be someone to turn that around, as he will be going up against Solo on this set. It is going to be Corki as that last pick, kind of conspicuously left open there. So this is going to be the scaling pick here for Power of Evil. And in that LeBlanc matchup, you often see Corki just rush Hex Drinker, then go into the Triforce. It can be more difficult to go towards those scaling builds, things like the tier, because you often need that defense early on. With this Jace, I am expecting the kind of phase rush against Solo, trying to kite each other out.
We'll see. Yeah, what's exciting, you guys talked about on the dive that we're seeing a bit more Jace as well, bringing in that phase rush, so we'll see if they get aggressive. But knowing that C9 brought those aggressive lanes, or thinking they would, I'm glad to see FlyQuest has some that aren't going to be calling Santorin left and right saying, we need you. Oh, now we need you here, right? They're fighting us 1v1. We can't do this.
Help,
so awesome stuff. And let's see if they can self-serve in their lanes and let the junglers start to get into each other's dens here. Blabber on the Olaf, Santorin on the Lee Sin, as we're going to be watching that matchup for sure. Conqueror for both as we head on to the Rift. And it is going to be a phase rush Jace. FLICKR now the leader of this, what is era of Cloud9 from the top side of the map. Very confident player, and the team has been able to get behind him here, definitely over the spring split, and just come together overall. It's an amazing team to watch a lot of the times, how they can distribute resources among so many pivotal players.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something that they've kind of talked about in interviews too, you know, doing what is best for the team instead of what is best for the individual player. You know, things like, you know, Niski is a very heavy roamer, right? And they talked about the ability to just have Blabber catch a wave so that Niski can roam and not necessarily worrying about catching all of those minions yourself if you are Niski. And that's something that I think is pretty atypical, but they know that sometimes, you know, that is going to allow them to be more proactive, and that is going to allow them to make a move that would surprise their opponents.
All quiet. Start this one off. Nobody even wants to see what's going on too much. The wards really aren't placed. It looks like Ignar is going to try to squeak himself in a little late here and get one towards the Raptor camp. But a red ward is placed on the side of Cloud9. Blabber wants to know if anybody's invading his jungle. Rightfully so. Lee Sin's tricky with his movements and can get himself over there right fast. Looks like we're going to be even on this one, and they're going to meet on the bot side if they actually do the same route.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. Santorin did get a leash there from Solo on the set. But yeah, I mean, I think it's important to have that red buff warded, because if you are Blabber and you're clearing top to bottom, look how low Blabber gets, right? That is intentional. He's going to save his potions and stay low because you clear more quickly as Olaf by doing that. But the problem is, if you show up to your red buff and Lee Sin's waiting in the brush and you're that low, then you just die, right? And that is why they are warding that out for him. That is why they are trying to play that more defensively with both the ward on the red buff as well as the ward in that bot side tri-brush to try to cover where they think Santorin could be approaching from.
Sweeper for Blabber to start things off, making sure a lot is safe. Nothing to chance here. Even FlyQuest things still have vision to clear it out. Santorin's on his Gromp, and now we'll get the other side cleared as well for Cloud9. A little bit of a push up for wards here. We see Wild Turtle Ignar, buddy system as they set out two of their own wards pretty early here, expecting some early ganks from the junglers to start. We're not also realizing where Cloud9 may have started and giving Blabber the respect there.
Yeah, and I mean, just look at how much of an emphasis has been put on actually protecting Blabber in this early game. Those two wards that I already noted, plus then Niski has a timing down for when he thinks Lee Sin might be moving, and puts another river ward down. So those, you know, essentially 3 wards to make sure that Blabber can have a full 6 camp safe clear, and he is going to get that. And he is going to be 2 camps ahead of his opponent, will be spotted, but has a sweeper, so knows that he has been spotted. But he's a level up here on Santorin, and they're looking for the fight.
Falcon stepped in. Sonic Wave going to hit. Resonating Strike not coming through. He will have the upper hand as he heads up top. Niski has advantage in the mid lane, so he won't exactly see Power of Evil right away, but they're going to try to step a fight onto this Scuttle. Blabber forces Flash, but he gets an undertow now onto Ignar. Maybe a fight onto Turtle. There's 200 HP for Blabber, makes him reconsider this fight. He goes into Vicious Strike so he can get a little bit of HP back here. Starts swinging fast. In goes Santorin, gets the safeguard back. This is a messy one. Niski's going to be in the fight with the clone, trying to tempt out FlyQuest. They get shots onto that one. The first blood's going over to Solos. He teleports down to the fight, but Cloud9 is not done. The double busts are going to be refreshed. They're coming back.
Here comes Power of Evil, too.
One way. The shield, the heals coming in for Set on that HP. Power of Evil now into the fight. Another shot on Niski. He's going to be able to get, a double kill, actually, for Turtle. I thought it was the Gatling gun for Power of Evil, but FlyQuest has just pulled the rug out from under Cloud9, and a splash from Sven to end it all off. Niski somehow gets out alive.
Oh my god, what a start to the game, Riv. 10 men fighting over that Scuttle Crab down on the bottom side. That was absolute insanity from FlyQuest and Cloud9 there. It looked like Cloud9 should have been the ones to come out on top because Niski had Prio in mid lane. He was the one that was able to make that roam first, but FlyQuest played it out very well. The earlier TP from Solo and then the delayed TP after Power of Evil had actually based to come back in and really change things around. And FlyQuest going to be feeling so good about that one. 3 kills to 1, and they already have some farm advantages to boot.
And Solo able to clean up now on the top side as he gets back. Like you said, the farm now getting cleaned up. 2 kills for Turtle that go into the Ezreal. That's going to be great for power spike for him. Hopefully it can be utilized outside the lane as LCKR goes in hard here and gets so low with a bit of that phase rush push. We'll see the rest of how this early game pans out. Santorin feels great. 3 assists for him, and he was back and forth in the fight being utility, not really having to get in for any execution. But for an early game Lee Sin, that's fantastic. Usually you die right away when you try to get yourself in if the team is not on board. Niski and Power of Evil, a little distort forward. Nice chain within the minions.
It's level 6 to level 4.
Health advantage there. Yeah. Still going to fight though. Niski trying to put it up inside the minions as we just see Drake go down. Now it's going to go over to the side of Cloud9.
Yeah, Blabber is the one guy who's still kind of in a really good spot. Everyone else is going to be hurting a bit off of that. This is a lane that you want to be bullying as Niski, but because Power of Evil, got to take so much time, he actually, killed all the minions, then based, then TP'd, and his team still didn't lose the fight. He didn't get punished at all. Niski does have a freeze here, so he will be catching up in that farm, will be catching up in the experience, which is going to be nice and also very necessary for him because, 2 kills to Ezreal on the bottom side, that's going to put him ahead. Solo getting a kill and a couple assists to grab an early pair of Ninja Tabbies is really going to help you from being bullied by Jace in the early stages, and that's going to make it a lot tougher for LCKR too. So Cloud9, definitely in a bit of a tough spot. We've seen them battle their way out of a lot worse ones in the past, but it is damn rare for them to be behind at really any point of the game.
It's true, right? They're right on top of any play that either one of them is doing, and you were right to call out that it seemed like there was a bit of lack of rotation there on the side of Cloud9, played in favor of FlyQuest. Teleports halfway through their cooldown for both of our teleporters, so we'll see that kind of putting a pause on the action most likely. Blabber towards the top side is going to deliver that blue buff over to Niski so he can stay in on par, I should say. With 4 CS is there, but the damage may not be just yet. Orange just on the other side of this little cat and mouse may be played between the two, and he's just going to miss him on the Squire's Bloom, but Santorin knows. He gets a cheeky raptor in his tendies and he moves out.
Take 1 chicken for your troubles there on the way out, and Santorin moving here down towards that mid side. Niski has got his level 6, so that's going to be pretty nice for him. And Power of Evil clearly not feeling threatened after this start whatsoever, so he does have that pickaxe, which I assume means he's going to be going straight towards that tier build next. He doesn't want to go right to the tier first because he wants to have a little bit more combat power, but he's not feeling like, hey, I'm so pressured that I have to go for a Hex Drinker here. And LCKR has got to proc his phase rush and get out.
Ooh, showstopper in. That's going to be a big one. I like the phase breaker that pulled him in. I don't think LCKR was really considering the full combo is coming through in a lane gank for the Lee Sin without having to really do too much to get into position. Nice job by FlyQuest to keep the pressure on here. Niski taking some damage mid as Power of Evil sorts himself out and just gets out of range of Blabber in that engage.
Yeah, great gank up on that top side. You hit the phase breaker, you pull him in, then you have the ultimate. That's as soon as you land that, it's an easy Q for Santorin. That is guaranteed. The ult from Lee Sin is guaranteed, and they have enough damage to just burst down this Jace, who has been put down a little bit by that gank and by that TP. Not working out as well for him as he was really hoping.
So things going well for FlyQuest across the board. Being able to pull out that intensity we were hoping from both teams. I think you can really do the never count Cloud9 thing out, or out thing, I should say. But here's just a walk up. Santorin's doing Krugs. He said, hey, minion waves here. We definitely have an opportunity to get this to happen. And he baits it out for just a moment before going in.
Yep, we did see LCKR actually had the knockback from Hammer Form, but the pull in there, that facebreaker was already buffered by Solo, so he just gets dragged back, and that slow is enough for Solo to be able to catch up, land the ultimate, guaranteed Q for Lee Sin. Just a really good setup from him, and it's a good sign as a FlyQuest fan to see Santorin and Solo working well together as a duo, because that is that newest member. It is very important that those guys have good synergy, with their jungler as the solo laners. And already, off to a great start here. They are up 1,000 gold on Cloud9.
Seems like bot lane was pushed there as we watch the replay, along with a rotation from Vulcan. Rift Herald able to grab over the C9 side, and that's in the hands of Blabber. See, as we have 40 seconds left on our next Cloud Drake. Ocean first, Cloud. So Inferno or Mountain is going to be changing our Rift. Right now, I don't know if that's going to get too much attention as everybody gets back to the lane. Vulcan's going to join Sven there, 85 to 80 in that lane. We'll see if they can keep putting out the damage. Wild Turtle and Ignar really haven't seen too much action. Besides that Scuttle fight, where everybody was involved in the early part of the game.
Yeah, that was a pretty spicy fight down there, and Ignar and Turtle after that going to be pretty happy to just kind of farm it up, right? You have Ezreal who got an early tier off of that fight. He got the early 2 kills, so he's going to be scaling up, stacking that tier as fast as possible, trying to complete that Muramana. You can see he rushed straight towards it, and the CDR boots probably grab his Sheen next, and we'll see where he wants to go from there. But Santorin looking for a fight here in mid lane.
Wants it though. He's trying to put as much damage down as he can, but he knows he can live through this one and absolutely obliterates one. Santorin goes down. Ignar's going to follow, and Blabber is just one-manning this fight. Now the rest of the team comes in, and it's going to be all of Cloud9, but will they lose another member with this happening? Turtle firing in from the side, and still FlyQuest chips away as their members go down. Cloud9 finds himself on top, and Blabber back at 100% HP.
Blabber not backing down at all. The MVP there in the 1v2 just stands and fights. Nissi comes in, and they are not done. They want to dive Turtle here now. Vulcan going to try to set it up with the auto. Gets the root.
Oh, they're right under. Turtle's going to get hit up hard here, and he just gets burned down by the last shot from Sven. Stopwatch under the turret denies the aggro, and this is going to be plates as well. You got to remember, Cloud9, once they want that fight, they take it. And Blabber was the one to light the fuse there. The rest of the team following through on the advantage. TP comes in. Nice dodge by Power of Evil. This is going to be a big fight here. Santorin and Ignar back in after going down. They rinse, they repeat, and they're going to try to pick up some more kills onto C9. Sven fighting and fighting as much as he can. Another shot to Santorin as he safeguards.
Here's Nisqy,
and
though.
Takes the aggro for himself. Nisqy distorts in. That's a double distort. Only one chain to the right side, and he's not going to be able to get enough calculated damage to take them. Power of Evil, but here, a Sigil should be able to do it as he goes over the wall. Yes, he is able to get it out. I thought he would have missed the angle, but Turtle's back. He's got the shell on, and he's going hard. Wax on, wax off. Nisqy's getting out alive, though, and not able to pick that one up as he distorts away. And another fight going balls to the wall here in Game 2 of the Summer Split.
Riv, what a treat we are getting to kick things off. This game is so hype. Nisqy there blocking multiple skill shots with his clone. Juking that back and forth to block the Ezreal Q, to block the Karma Q, the Lee Sin Q. That was sick, and this game is so action-packed. Neither team is backing down, and Nisqy may catch Ignar.
How did he live? He never should have lived in that situation. Just trying to punt them away. Gets away with 200, a sliver of HP, if you will, as the Rift Herald beats down on mid. Blabber was probably just about to lose this one as they had taken it. Next Rift Herald should be able to spawn due to the first time that Shelly was taken. Heraldine will spawn.
This is
let's see it again.
Fun game, so. Yeah, this is starting off after the initial fight that Cloud9 had won. They look for this dive, and the dive is very well played here. Vulcan, just waiting, gets the guaranteed root auto. That allows him to land the hook for free, then dropping the stopwatch here to drop Tower Anchor to walk it out. And they felt like, hey, we're in a pretty good position here. Sven even took the time to drop the penguin dab on him as he's walking away. But we see that the respawn has come through from Power of Evil. In comes the TP, a nice juke utilizing the home guards there onto Vulcan. Blabber had no flash, so no way out. And then the Karma root locking up Sven meant he could not kite it out, couldn't get through. But these health bars were so low. And the missed skill shot there from Power of Evil meant that it was actually an escape from Vulcan. The Karma Shield barely was able to keep Power of Evil alive, but Nisqy knew Distort is coming back up, distorts in, lands the Q plus the Luden's proc, and then the key play here is watch how he actually is juking. He moves the clone into the way to block the Ezreal Q, to block that Lee Sin Q, and to make it more difficult for Ignar to actually find an angle there. So really well played by Niski to clean up that kill, and this game has just been so exciting back and forth. But despite the fact it's 7-7 in kills, Cloud9 is up 2 dragons. They're up 2,400 gold somehow.
Yep.
Thanks to a lot of power farming, thanks to the Rift Herald cashing in on plates, and they are just doing Cloud9 things. You beat them in one fight, great. Let's fight again.
Look at your Spring Split Honda MVP, a 115 to 79 in CS. You say power farming. This guy is going to town right now. Blabber, and a lot of people, you see him around for a bit, right? Blabber's been this guy that's been there, but really only joining the team recently in the last few years from the academy side. Last split was the split he first started in and then got MVP. Where is his ceiling? We've been talking about ceilings a bit today, but I don't think we're even close to it. And again, he just gets first pick here for C9, priority on the Pixie Band, and he comes out firing on the Olaf. Even in that first 2v1 situation we saw, he didn't turn.
He has been looking so damn good. There's a reason he has like an 80% win rate in LCS. And Niski on the roam. Will Solo take down? No, the Karma comes in.
Ooh, safe. Shield comes out. That's the Ignite they're going to take out there. We see how much damage the Shock Blasts are doing. Bit of lethality that he has on right now, and it looks like turrets may be going down a little bit more here in favor of Cloud9. They're pressuring FlyQuest to answer mid and getting a bit of free time in the side lanes.
Yeah, pretty interesting to see FLICKR going for the Lucidity boots too. That is something that you really don't see often on the Jace, but it's going to help out the poke. You get the additional CDR. The Summoner spell cooldown reduction is something that's often overlooked there too. So if you want to be playing side lanes, having that TP up more often, having the flash up more often is going to be pretty nice. And with that full lethality stacking, there are a lot of squishy members over on FlyQuest. If you can hit the Karma, if you can hit either of these marksmen, they can get softened up, very, very heavily, which opens up opportunities for Niski to fly in there and take him down.
You're going for the downtown Sonic Wave. Also seeing that, you're able to apply your crowd control more, right? So you're getting your phase rush a little bit more often. You're able to, for the skies, hit your hammers. Getting a little faster. Fast Jace. Ace phase. All up in there.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast. A lot of people going fast this game. Power of Evil. Does he have a package on him? He's heading down towards bot side. He says, hey, I have a minion wave right quick before we get back to this fight. Wards being placed down both sides. It's going to be Crescendum and Infernum. You got to watch Fen here. Fires one in. Not going to be the ultimate from him just yet. No, that was actually. He did not proc as much damage as I thought. Kind of just fizzled out. He is in the front as he sets down a Crescendum. And now Gravitum in the back. Arrow first gun as he's going in. Solo and Vulcan going back and forth. Showstopper in as Vulcan doesn't get too much more damage across the team, and they may be able to solo out. Solo here for the kill. Fights across the board here on the river, and it looks like Dragon is going to be over to Blabber. Cloud9 picks it up. He has been the one to make the impact plays in these fights, and they're still going with 2 left on each side. Licorice almost getting it to the skies on Power of Evil, and Cloud9 fell fast in that one, with FlyQuest looking to take a little bit more. But like I said, Cloud9 got the Drake.
Yeah, they got the Dragon, and still 3 for 3 kills overall. That first pick on Ignar was so big, and the Aphelios ultimate didn't do that much to the rest of the team, but Ignar was gone instantly, so they were happy with that pick, and now Licorice catching Ignar there through the exhaust. He's just hammering him.
Got him with the focus resolve, though. Locked him up. Is it going to be enough? Oh, Ignar with the plays! Maybe the 5-finger fumble Rooski from Licorice, I don't know, but the lockdown from the Mantra Resolve was beautiful. Oh, my word.
That was so good by Ignar. Licorice flashes in to finish him off, and he just flashes the other side of the blast cone, and he gets out of there.
Oh, my
the exhaust
word.
saving Ignar, and that is Summoner down for Licorice, plus his life given over there, as he thought he had a catch, but ends up being the one going down.
Those are the... You want to see that confidence from your teammates, right? You're like, sweet, he's in the jungle doing whatever. But that's the confidence that starts to chip away at that whole resource you're using. I don't know if Licorice is going to want these plays over and over. Teleport top now. They have a bit of help here with Blabber. Now it makes the difference if they're going fast to the skies. Doesn't quite hit, but Power of Evil still taking the full damage, and he does go down. The question is answered, Riv. No, it doesn't end. Licorice is not tempering his aggression. And we'll see this fight one more time that got turned around.
Did Vulcan just hook the wall and then hit him with the Rammus thumbs up? I'm pretty sure he did to start that off, but the cook comes back up, straight in, ultimate through, very nicely done. and it actually looked like, you know, the fellow's ultimate hits the Karma as he died, so you kind of couldn't really see that damage, but Hook into Shock Blast, plus the axe coming through from Olaf, they just absolutely destroyed him. Sven having some trouble here, though, with his positioning. As Solo came through from the top, he didn't feel like he could actually run out through that direction, but then he's getting segmented off. So if you watch Sven, he just gets completely caught out here, hit with the Ezreal Q, Santorin bursts him down, but the Olaf is just unstoppable. Level 11, flashing in there, looking to take out Santorin, secures the dragon, almost kills him with the axe, and then in this final fight here, it's all about the missed Shock Blast. FLICKR not quite able to finish off Power of Evil, would have easily had enough damage if he was able to land that Q, and then did end up overstaying a bit and get it taken down by Ignar.
11-11. We're going punch for punch here, Zale. As we mentioned before, though, Cloud9 has been able to keep a bit of that gold lead. The farming, the turrets, the structures are in their favor for some of that global gold on the map. So it looks like he may be able to get a drop on this one here. Nobody's close to him. And even if, I wonder if this is going to go over to the split more so, where he just helps him get the wave and takes over the lane as Solo will back. So they're going to trade this one off. See how the split push starts to work here. You do have Jace on the top side of the map as we see a bit of the gold and how that's working out for both teams. Niski himself is going to get a buff. Somebody else, a player who has definitely come from a place of criticism, right, in his first split in the LCS, and kind of just shook that off, has always had a smile on his face, a dancer, if you will, very explosive. But he's definitely been showing up the past few splits, and he's definitely someone to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I mean, on his kind of second return to the LCS, obviously in his earlier days with the Envy, you know, was criticized a fair bit, but since he's been back in NA with Cloud9, he has been great, getting a lot of credit, rightfully so, as one of the very best in the league. Was first team all LCS last split and was kind of in the hunt for that MVP also. So definitely a really, really good player. But you know, one of the most exciting things I think about Cloud9, and one of the things that really kind of makes Cloud9 Cloud9, is the fact that they are always willing to take these fights. And it's not always going well for them in this game, but they are constantly taking objectives. They are constantly getting advantages elsewhere. And they are always willing to take that fight again because they have faith in their ability to outplay in these team fights, that they can execute, that they can hit the skill shots, that they can dodge yours, and that is something that really speaks highly of how confident they are as a squad.
Everything's online for them to make it feel good here, too. You have the Hurricane in for Sven. He's going to be able to kind of stand tall in this fight. Vulcan's there with the Stone Plate if anything does happen towards the backside, but they're still being careful about this. Here comes the mid lane Power of Evil with the package across the entirety of Cloud9 to shake them up a bit, but not real much comes of it. And now they're going to try to get this fight on. Haymaker over to Niski. He's able to kind of deny a bit of that damage, and Solo may go down. We just lost Santorin. Solo falls as well. And in the blink of an eye, fights are happening across the board. And we just saw Power of Evil package across Cloud9. That was enough to get them to fight in a fight they had been looking at the whole time. It amazes me how they find them, as you were just saying.
Yeah, and I mean, this was something where FlyQuest just had to fight because that was Soul. They got Soul right there, so they knew, all right, 4th Dragon coming up, let's set up for the fight. But FLICKR lands a Shock Blast that almost 100-0'd Ignar, pushes him out of the fight. Then Power of Evil is packaging across the team. They get a double chain on Solo. They kill him. They take Soul. They're going to bear, and Cloud9 just pushes the pace non-stop.
Corki's great at this, a little too early. The steals from Corki have been seen. 3 minutes now for Cloud9 to be running around with the Baron buff, and they are showing true championship form here as they go toe-to-toe with FlyQuest, but ever so slightly always ahead, always coming out on top of these fights, or starting the fight with it in their favor. We'll see FlyQuest back, what more items they can get into their hands as they start this one off. The early game's so good for FlyQuest, it didn't seem like they could really execute on it other than in just a few fights. With Rift Herald going over to Cloud9 and the way they executed that with the waves pushing up, top lane being pushed in for Licorice, there was no real chance for FlyQuest to really get back on that. And I think Cloud9, really, we've seen this before, all they need is a bit of an advantage. That farm from Blabber, the turrets to start going down in their favor, to get that first item and make that impact.
It really is, and I think that the real difference here just has been how willing Cloud9 is to move, to get advantages, to push for these dragons, to try to stack up those objectives, because a lot of the fights have actually been pretty even. I mean, it's 13-11 in kills, but yet you have Soul, you have Baron, you're up 6,000 plus gold, and you can see, I mean, look at the farm difference between Niski and Power of Evil. It's not just because Niski's like farming poorly, it's because he is constantly moving, looking to get picks, and they're willing to give some of that farm over to Blabber to put him in position to run that jungle matchup against Santorin. He's 3 levels up on Santorin, which gives him the advantage in the smite fights, which allows him to always duel out these other members on FlyQuest anytime he runs into them. I mean, he can win fights against pretty much anyone if he's not just getting fully kited out. So, you know, Blabber is just in this monstrous spot, and now with the Soul, their team has the run of the map.
MVP?
Yeah, he seems pretty good. He could be in the running.
Pretty good guy. Could be in the running. I like it. 25 minutes coming up on the clock here. And we are going to see FlyQuest trying to put 3 towards the top side. They don't have much here that's going to clear these Baroned up minions out. And even when you get Turtle and Power of Evil, there's still a bit of work. They can get them. You gotta be careful about that Siege minion, Cannon minion just a bit out. Don't get baited into it. That's going to be Wild Turtle's job. So they hold off. Cloud9 is going to hold for now. They do have Niski mid. Talking about him just a bit ago. We saw the roam game from him. He's ever so known for, whether he's on this LeBlanc or waddling around on the Veigar. He will be there ganking your lane at some point in the game. You're here now. Second wave coming in. Solo maybe looking for a fight. Santorin comes flying off the base. Man, your feet got to be hot with home guards and no shoes on, man. Oh, so much damage on a Solo. He's the one that has to live. You know the Haymaker Shield's going to be coming up, and he's going to be able to get himself back to safety here, but the Nexus could be in jeopardy with the first inhibitor and its inhibitor turret going down. 5 minutes on those. Put it on the clock. We'll be able to see how C9 moves around those timers. A few wards placed out for FlyQuest here, but they're just trying to stop the bleeding right now, and Cloud9 has no intention to stop it.
I mean, it's just crazy how good they are at pushing these advantages. Almost every single time in spring, they were ending the game at or by 30 minutes. They would just win a team fight, get a Baron, game's over. Just like that. Make it look so damn easy. And even though this game was very evenly contested in the early stages, FlyQuest was getting advantages at a number of different points. C9 is right back in the driver's seat, and they're sitting in a position that looks like they're going to be able to do the same thing yet again. I mean, we're at 26 minutes. They already cracked top inhib. They have an open middle inhib. One more team fight win, and the game just ends, and that could be happening in a minute 50 at that Elder Dragon.
Yeah, it is something to take note of. We even saw a few mistakes, you know, maybe when Blabber ran up the scuttle, flash back down, comms for mid-aggression wasn't there. Yeah, FLICKR going down towards the top side, but as I mentioned before, it's kind of crazy to see that C9 themselves are a team with so many impact players. Ways to divide those resources have never really ever given them a problem, and they're always doing the right thing. You know, nobody's ever starved. Everyone's always able to put out damage or make the fight happen in favor of the team. So if one falls down, the others are picking them back up, and that's why it's such a hard team to take down. Here, 3 in the mid lane, they would be ready to take on just about anything or disengage, and they get a true shot barrage out of Turtle to start things off. I love that they're all about the emotes this split. I am enjoying this.
Yeah, they're great. Sven seems to be the biggest emote fan so far. Hit him with the penguin dab, give him some thumbs up. You love to see it.
Oh my word. Get in their head just a little bit.
I mean, it could be a tilter.
Oh, absolutely it can. Especially when you do like the sorries or the like, oops, I didn't mean to kill you for the 7th time. Sorry. Oh, that'll get you. That'll get you. Santorin just trying to check the sonic waves here. 1-2 gets about 25% of his health from a double distortion from Niski. And they are back out testing the waters all over the place.
Yeah, the water is looking pretty cold. FlyQuest doesn't want to dip their toes in there, as a Shock Blast is basically a dead Santorin. And Cloud9 isn't going to overchase, right? They are just happy to just park over here in the jungle. They want to keep all of this vision. You can see that there is a ward in the pit, thankfully for FlyQuest, because Cloud9 is hoping that they can't even approach and that they can just get a free Elder. But the wards on the exit is giving FlyQuest the information they need to at least move down and try to contest. They have got to get there fast, though. It's just going to be gone.
Package! Oh, he didn't use it. Solo's going to be in there by himself. Can they answer? Whoa, he got zeroed out. That shield didn't last very long, even though it was half of his health bar. And that was down and dirty by Cloud9. They take the Drake, or take the Elder, I should say. They were ready to take a resulting fight, and they're going to go ahead and waltz right up towards that Baron side. And whether it's for Baron or just to get vision, a few of them are going to stay and grab the objectives.
Yeah, they'll grab the Baron here. Grab the Baron, grab the Elder, then you are fully super buffed up, and you can move over. Ezreal, nice try for the steal, but too early there from Turtle. Obviously didn't have any vision on it himself. Cloud9 have everything they need now to close out the game. It's going to be nearly impossible for FlyQuest to hang on with multiple exposed inhibitors, with Baron plus Elder, all of the gold in Cloud9's pockets now. They have, ballooned this gold lead up over 12,000 ahead. And when you're looking at some of the itemization, it's just insane. 4,000 plus gold lead in the jungle, 4,000 plus gold lead in top lane, 2,500 in that bot lane. These are just absurd advantages.
Makes you wish that you could have seen how Cloud9 went undefeated at MSI, you know?
They didn't lose. I'll tell you that much.
They didn't lose, indeed. Here they are pushing down towards the bot side of the map. A 12,000 gold lead, as you were just mentioning. And they are going to use that to just keep banging on the front door of FlyQuest base. Inhibitor in the mid, going down. 30 seconds on the top one to respawn. Solo.
Flank, last try.
Coming in from downtown. He is so big on this flank, they can probably hear him pounded down the lane behind him. Here he comes. Trying to do it. Oh my god, Santorin didn't even last the blink of a second. And they're going to try to get into the fight. Solo again in there by himself, and he goes down fast. This is going to be the rest of FlyQuest doing what they can, but they are just getting lofted away. Back to the fountain, taken out left and right. Cloud9 will keep that championship reign going. Your Spring Split champs start off strong and start the Summer Split with a win here in the LCS.
What do you know it? 30 minutes on the clock. Cloud9 taking their first win of the split. This team just looking so damn good right out the gates. That was such a fun game, such an exciting game, in that rematch of the finals. FlyQuest deserving of some credit too. They did not back down from Cloud9. They were willing to match them blow for blow in those early fights. The 5-man from both teams TPing down to fight at that scuttle was just insane. It was FlyQuest that came out ahead, but Cloud9 will just keep going at you. It's not going to stop after one fight. You have got to be able to match them blow for blow throughout the entire game, and they just couldn't quite keep pace.
That's the scary thing, right? You see this team that you can get a few kills on early game, and a lot of times, even in solo queue, you're like, it's early game. That doesn't matter. That's good. In professional, you can put a little more weight to it and say, sweet, this, they should use this, they should do that. But against C9, it's like, how much of a lead do you actually need before it's a lead, right? We saw Santorin go top and get a kill onto FLICKR. Then they were able to pressure him off. We saw 2 kills to Wild Turtle in the bot lane, but Ezreal doesn't exactly just ramp up immediately, and you can use that power everywhere. So Cloud9, biding their time, knows they can win that mid game. So no matter, it seems, what you do to C9, there's probably something in the early game, but you have to have a mid game master plan. You have to have the transition of whatever power you have into the objectives, into turrets, because Cloud9 is already thinking about that. It's absurd.
Exactly. I mean, this is the thing, right? This is why they looked more dominant than probably any team ever has before in the LCS, because there's not an obvious answer, Riv, right? They have 5 individual players that are at the top of their role. They have some of the strongest laners of any team in the league. They have, the best team fighters of any team in the league. They just don't have any obvious holes, right? And maybe they exist and someone has yet to kind of show them to us, and we'll see if someone can kind of rise to their level and really poke some holes into their gameplay. But for the most part, it really feels like your best chance at beating Cloud9 is constantly fighting them, trying to draft winning lanes, go right at them, and hope Cloud9 can't execute in some of those team fights, that you can take those advantages and snowball it, because Cloud9 is never going to back down from those team fights. And if you can punish them there, hey, maybe you can get a lead. But that is so much easier said than done, because they're just so damn good in these skirmishes and in these team fights.
They absolutely are. So Cloud9 takes their first win here in the Summer Split. We are going to take a quick break, but on the other side, we are going to hear from the Honda MVP, Blabber himself, and a look towards the rest of Week 1 of LCS. Don't go anywhere.
Look forward, hit the gas, focus on the road before you. The Honda Civic, with standard Honda sensing. It's fun, always.
Verizon knows how to build unlimited right. You start with America's most awarded network, the one with unbeatable reliability 13 times in a row.
This network is one less thing I have to worry about.
Then you give people more plans to mix and match, so you only pay for what you need.
Verizon Unlimited plan is so reasonable, they could stay on for the rest of their lives.
You include the best in entertainment, and you offer it all starting at $35, because everyone deserves the best. This is Unlimited built right, only on Verizon.
Welcome back to Friday Night League, where you just witnessed your first 2 games of the spring split here in the LCS What. But before we get to our breakdown here on the State Farm Analyst Desk, we do have Pastry Time standing on by with your Honda MVP of the spring split.
That's right, I am indeed here with Blabber for another Cloud9 victory. Blabber, how you been, man? It's been a while.
I'm doing good. Feels good to win our first game.
Is there anything different at all about playing the same team again? Because obviously you had the final series, and even though there was a long break between spring ending and summer starting, you have played FlyQuest a few times. The rosters didn't change. Was there anything special about preparing for this game, or was it just another game?
Yeah, there wasn't really anything special. FlyQuest is probably one of the easiest teams, I'd say, to draft against for us. We pretty much know how they're going to pick. They're going to pick set 1-2. They're going to save last pick for Power of Evil no matter what. So it's pretty simple for us to draft versus FlyQuest, I think.
Yeah, it makes sense, and it certainly seemed like you had the game under control despite some mishaps perhaps in the early game. Kind of pulling back a little though, what was the off-season like as far as preparation? Like, obviously not getting to go to a big event like MSI has to suck. So what was it like for the team? Did you rest? Did you practice more? Kind of what happened between, again, spring ending and summer starting?
Yeah, so we took about a month off, I'd say, maybe a month and a half off probably, and then we played different games. I played a bit of Valorant, some Hearthstone, stuff like that. But we started scrimming again on like the 26th of May or so, and by that time, teams were already scrimming, and we were like, oh, maybe teams would have like gotten a lot better or something, hopefully or something. But I mean, we're just back to the usual. Although I do think teams are a lot better this split than last split. I'll give them that.
Are there any particular teams you could speak to that might be a bit better, or is it just general? It feels like the league's a bit stronger.
I think TL is stronger than they were last split, and I think FlyQuest have been playing better too. Obviously, we haven't scrimmed them recently because we played them, but when we first started, they were doing pretty well also.
And then final question for you. Junglers, certainly, I mean, you took a break from the game, you come back, and all of a sudden, Death Dance great. Junglers seem unbelievably strong, and it seems like this is like made for you to carry yet another season. How do you feel about the jungle meta currently with all these good aggressive junglers in the pool?
I mean, I don't even know if they're aggressive junglers. All the really strong junglers just farm all their camps over and over again. As you saw from my Olaf gameplay, I didn't really do anything but farm my camps, and then I'm just really strong at one point. So it's not like I'm really doing anything that aggressive early game. I mean, obviously we're fighting a lot, but it definitely feels good to be able to play a carry role instead of Sejuani and Skarner.
Do you like the style? Would you prefer to be playing a ganking jungler? I mean, certainly you wouldn't prefer to be playing Sejuani, but do you kind of like what the jungle's at for you?
Yeah, I think jungle's in a decent spot right now. I do think some champs maybe are a bit too strong, and maybe jungle experience is a little high, but I think overall it's fine. I don't really have a preference on ganking style junglers or farming junglers.
Yep, certainly. It just seems like you're going to win games no matter. Blabber, thank you so much for joining me, and congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, well, thank you to Verizon for helping us set up the interview. Now to wrap up.
Always great to hear from Blabber, and Pastry good time too. But here's the thing. There's one question that was not asked that I think is very important. The most important thing after that game, because emotes are enabled. We had a lot of moments to pull from. So Mark, with your expertise as an analyst, what was the best emote usage that you witnessed during that game?
It was pretty easily for me when you had Vulcan Q into the wall right at the start of a team fight, and then flashes Rammus OK thumbs up emote. Razzleplasm tweeted a clip of it. It's great. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's on his Twitter. It's hilarious.
Any honorable mentions from Kobe or Prolly?
Yeah, I mean, I like that one. I guess an honorable mention would also be the dab in bottom lane. I think it was Sven, after doing something good. It's so much better, though, when you do something bad, you make a mistake, and you can just own up to it, and you get to kind of take control before people flame you.
So true. I'm just here to, be the real-life representation of all the emotes that we saw used in the game. But real talk, we did go into today talking about our expectations as far as picks to expect. And probably I want to get your thoughts on how Jace was executed there in the top lane.
Yeah, I actually was really happy to see Jace. I would say the other picks today in the top lane were a little bit of sadness, but at least FLICKR got to play one of the not newer, but a champion that just hasn't been in meta, at least for spring. And man, those shock blasts were half HPing people, especially after they got the Infernal Drake. So I was really happy with the way he played lane. I do know he got ganked, lost flash, and he had to use TP and stuff like that, but I did like the play overall, and I do like that kind of different facet where you're bringing a top laner who's not just like a big, beefy tank, and you're bringing someone who can actually make plays on the side.
Well, and speaking about one side of the top lane, Kobe, when facing off against Solo on the opposite ends, there was a lot of early aggression coming out of FlyQuest. So what did you make of that particular matchup?
The FLICKR versus Solo. I thought it was a decent matchup. The junglers had some influence on it. I mean, both of them teleported down to the dragon. I thought Santorin actually had a good gank on the top side, though. And some of the small positives you can take for FlyQuest, even though they lost this game, were probably that. I thought they played the skirmishes really well. But the cost of it is that he got heavily outfarmed. Santorin was able to play well in the skirmishes, but obviously Blabber, talking about in his interview, continuing to focus on the camps, he had a 4-level lead at one point.
Yeah, later on into the game, too, that lead just seemed more and more punishing. And looking at other portions of the team play, you gotta look at Vulcan, right? He's been known for his aggression in the past, but also the engages he was able to execute here. So, Mark, why was that imperative to these team fights and the confidence that Cloud9 continues to show in those circumstances?
He was basically the only reliable form of engage. You know, Jace not really going to do much. LeBlanc not going to do much. Aphelios with the right gun can contribute, but for the most part, it was all on Vulcan hitting big hooks and, able to set his team up for those kills. So as that game was really bloody and really skirmish heavy, you could almost see every fight that was going in C9's favor came off the back of Vulcan. That's why it was a super impressive performance on Nautilus.
And despite the fact that this was a Cloud9 victory, which was predicted by most people going into this, there was that back and forth scrappy nature. If you're looking at the perspective from FlyQuest here, Prolly, what are some of the positives, maybe some changes or things that you've seen in what they have executed here today, if any?
Well, the very first skirmish that they had in the bot river around Scuttle was actually really important because Blabber was the one who got the first track on it, and a lot of teams I think would give up that kind of fight because Cloud9's usually very aggressive. Get out of here, Mark. But
I just had to see if I could do it.
At
6 feet,
FlyQuest,
Mark. 6 feet, please.
My bad.
6 feet. Social distancing. But after Olaf went into the river, I'm trying to maintain composure here. FlyQuest actually took that fight. They forced it. Even though they didn't have like mid priority, they still know the bot priority was there first, and then during that, they actually came out on top of an early game skirmish, which against C9 usually doesn't happen. So I was really happy FlyQuest took it to them there. But their dragon fights later in the game were probably not the greatest thing. Cloud9 was able to gather Drakes very, very quickly, and that's probably what FlyQuest is going to look at for review.
At the end of the interview that we just heard from Blabber, he was talking about the fact that FlyQuest are one of the easiest to face off against solely when it comes to their draft, being predictable, saving picks for Power of Evil in that last position. Kobe, do you think that this is something that could be a detriment for FlyQuest down the line, or just the fact that they're maybe going with some comfortable aspects here at the start of the split?
I think that it could be a detriment versus Cloud9, but every team is going to be at a big disadvantage versus Cloud9. I really don't see a lot of the other teams in the LCS punishing FlyQuest as heavily as this. To me, this whole game was so much reassurance of Cloud9 still being the powerhouse of the region, sticking to their same playstyle. They remain proactive. They pick these winning lane matchups, and that's part of the key that he's talking about, knowing what FlyQuest are going to go with. And then they just stick to that game plan. They have Vulcan and Blabber continue to get these initiations, press the game forward, and have a similar snowball.
Well, and we got to thank both of these teams for bringing us a scrappy match for our second game of the LCS for the spring split, and to all the teams that played today. Because with that, our first two games are complete. So let's take a look at the standings. And I mean, they're pretty obvious at this point with only two games in the bag. You sure, Mark? Do you got all those numbers? Are the zeros and ones telling you enough here?
Yeah, it's telling me FlyQuest is going to be the 10th place team for the entire split. There you go.
They're not making
print screen.
playoffs.
This is not changing.
Looking like a line of code there on the right side. But of course, we're going to have more matches to come throughout the weekend for the LCS, since this was just the start of it all. So we do hope that you all look forward to the LCS returning tomorrow, as EG are jumping back onto the Rift for Game 1 against CLG. Then Doublelift throws on his TSM jersey, aiming to take down his former squad on Team Liquid. Then two more matches before we call it an evening. And hey, I mean, those two last matches are still going to be important to watch, right? I know we're all hyped about Doublelift on TSM, but still some good stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm especially excited about Golden Guardians and Dignitas. They were two of the rosters that had some of the most upheaval in the split, or in the offseason, excuse me. So I'm really excited to see how they start this split with those changes.
All right, everyone. Well, to the three of you, thanks for keeping me company here on Friday Night League. But that will do it for all of us for now. On behalf of myself, the casters, and the entire remote broadcast crew, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for more LCS.